Markets coming off their first negative week in more than 5 and looking to bounce back this morning as we see futures back to the downside ever so slightly. A little bit red for tech right now, 0.4 for the NASDAQ, 0.23 for the S&P 500. We'll see if we can't get heading in the right direction. Ton of things moving around today. A lot of retail earnings to get to this week. We get Home Depot this morning. It is under a little bit of pressure here to start things off. We'll touch on that coming up. Coinbase as well, coming off what happened at the end of the week last week. Back to the upside, we'll talk about crypto coming up. More headlines for Tesla this morning as well. It's Tuesday, February 20th, 2024. Tradertv.live starts now. And there's no intro today, so we'll just keep going. It's going to be an interesting day setting up here as we head into what could be an important week for the overall market. There is more economic data to get to coming up later in the week. We got CPI on the Canadian side of things this morning. I'll pull that up and have a look at that as we get going. More importantly, how did everyone like the first 30 minutes of the stream this morning? So that's the second stream and the second screen. You can now get that on More Trader TV Live, the second YouTube channel. That's going to be available all day long, and we'll have updates on both Neil and Sean's positions throughout the day. We'll put some headlines in there as far as news is concerned as well, and also the economic calendar, as we said back on Friday. So hope everyone liked that to kick things off. Sharif is under the weather today. Adara is here.
Hi.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How was your long weekend?
It was pretty good, pretty busy, but overall pretty exciting. Very happy to be here and dive back into the shortened trading week.
Yeah, it's with a shortened trading week coming out of the holiday weekend. A lot to get to. There's going to be earnings throughout the entire week as well. We'll touch on a few coming up. The big one, obviously, Nvidia. Coming up tomorrow after the close. That's going to be the headliner for the week itself. So just bear with us, guys. We're having a few technical issues as far as getting the second stream going again over on the second channel, and also some graphics this morning. But things are underway. Happy Tuesday, guys.
It is Tuesday, isn't it?
Yes, always feels like Tuesday.
Today
feels like a Monday around here.
It definitely feels like a Monday, but the good news is Walmart's at all-time highs. That's going to be some good news. There's earnings that matter other than Nvidia this week, right? RIVN, Walmart, Home Depot. Although I have to admit, listening to the podcast, I feel like when it was pick one between Walmart and Home Depot, Brendan was very reluctant with Home Depot, and I feel like a lot of people would have picked Walmart, and you would have been right, because Walmart up, Home Depot down, although it's only down a couple of points. So there is a lot to watch this week. I think you start with day 2, day 3 type plays, all the stuff that was hot last week, things like Coinbase, some of the crypto names come right back into play, go right back over to the chips. That's where I'm looking at. I'm looking at, Amazon's at a huge level since its earnings. I think there's a heck of a lot to watch this week before we get into Nvidia. That's for sure.
Yeah, it should be a fun week. There's lots, earnings or not, this market seems to want to pull back a little bit here. So we're excited for that. You have Apple, I just wrote it down, I think it was like 5 or 6 straight red days. Looking to have another one today, NASDAQ down 0.45. I've got ARM on watch here today, looking to break through 120. That's going to be hopefully my trade, the one trade that I can hit the biggest. So we'll see if ARM can break. But ARM is still second day. I got to figure out if it's still SSR or not, because that's going to be a tough one. But breaking down here below 120, I feel like it's been such a decent level here that it's just kind of been bouncing around. Obviously, any kind of a move upside. I saw Hampton's trader say that I was the patient one. Well, we've been like that for the last little while, and it's been really working out. We may not have to be too patient here with ARM. I just like, it's an easy level. There's nothing really that key. If you want to go all the way down, it's like 118, 119 here on ARM, 17. But let's see what happens. I was saying to Adara, finally, they're trying to hold up Nvidia all last week. All upgrades. Today, another one, and it just bounced off 700. You can see, though, look what's been happening with Nvidia for the last week. It hasn't been able to break, so starting to go lower. We see tomorrow night what happens with Nvidia, but right now, this is a little bit of a scarier thought for me, holding on to some Nvidia shares. Just thinking maybe time, but I don't know. I said it's probably either at 900 or 600 in a couple of days, so we'll have to see where it's going. But so far, so good. We'll figure out what's going to happen here in the market. But it's ARM that's got my attention so far.
A little bit on the podcast on the weekend, if everyone caught that. It was the start of Friday going into the long weekend was the start of maybe a much needed pullback here, the first real red week for the market in a number of weeks. Sean was saying there, here we are downside again, 0.5%. I mentioned when we came on there at 8:30, we got Canadian CPI. It was flat. Flat reading month over month versus a negative 0.3 print expected there. So 2.9% versus 3.4 expected, the prior 3.3%. So heading in the right direction for inflation on this side of the border. I mean, we can dig into this a little bit today and see exactly what is still lagging around, but good to see a two handle for inflation once again. On this side of the border, as I mentioned, we got some retail earnings this morning. You were going through some of those in the pre-market here. Walmart and Home Depot, the main ones. Anything stand out there for you on those?
Yeah, I mean, I think Walmart across the board really strong. They did beat both earnings per share, so they won 80 versus the expected 165. They also exceeded sales expectations, so 173.4 billion versus the estimate of 170.71 billion. They also announced the acquisition of Vizio, the TV manufacturer, so that could be pretty interesting as well, in addition to a 9% dividend increase on a post-split basis.
Yeah, we heard those rumors going back to last week when that first was kind of circling around in the background. They come out and confirm that they're going to buy that. Hey, we're starting now. Just because, we didn't want to not run the intro, we'll just run it anyways. Everything good, guys? Everything is broken. Amazing. Can they hear me or no? Yeah. Okay. So we had a Windows update on one of our main production computers this morning. And Windows is doing whatever it really wants to right now. So yeah, shout out to our friends at Hedgeye, back with us again this week. One of the things we were saying, can we just shut that off, guys? Hey, it's Neil and Sean.
You can only hope to contain the intro. It has a life of its own.
Let's just run it again.
You just keep running it over and over.
Yeah, I mean, we go on the second stream, run the intro. But no, as Brendan said, thank you for paying, some sort of time with us here, because we did have a computer update. We did have a brand new beginning there.
Windows.
And now we're back on to us. Let us know, Fabian, what you want us to do. But yeah, we'll be patient with this right now. No, what we were talking about there was, well, first of all, I saw you went skating yesterday. That must have been nice, or a couple days ago, or.
So it was cold as all you know what.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
But that meant it was great. Like, it was great opportunities to go skating, because a lot of the local rinks in a warm winter, like the little pop-up
they haven't been
ones,
open yet.
Haven't been open. So there's like a main rink, it's Gage Park. We went. My
daughter, that's where it was. Yeah.
She's not really into. Like, she has been. We have to talk her into skating. We've had to the last couple of years. But yesterday was the first day where she was like really excited.
Good.
She really enjoyed it. So hopefully this will be like the beginning of something. I'll show you guys a quick video a little bit later. I don't have it queued up. I posted it, but it's like, if you're Canadian,
is key still up?
Skating is kind of one of those like rites of passage, right? Like, I'm a terrible skater myself, but hopefully she'll be a little bit better than me. But I mean, you guys were at the game on, it was Friday.
Friday, yeah, that women's game was insane. They had the wave going around and everything. I just want to quickly talk right now, but yeah, no, that was a hell of a lot of fun. Yeah, thanks for asking. We'll talk about that in a second. I see some people talking about Bitcoin. It looks like right now, yeah, Bitcoin is trying to go right through 53. So we've had a problem getting through this level, and it looks like right now Bitcoin well up and away. King Mara's behind me right now, so he's going to have a couple looks at that today, I'm sure about it. But Coinbase, here goes Bitcoin right now, 52,850 coming through again on a 1 hour. There it is, a nice spike up. It looks like right now we just shot up in the last hour $1,000. And so it's looking to take it out right here back on, well, I mean, obviously today's only the 20th, but there it is right there from the 15th, guys, back up. Fabi, just let me know. I'm just kind of, okay, back over. All right, we'll keep talking about Bitcoin all day, I'm sure of it, but let's go back over to the desk with Brendo and Adara.
Yeah, we'll talk some of the equities coming up here as well. I wanted to mention for anyone just joining this. So this is going to be available on the second stream, guys, all day long. Bears versus Bulls has the link for you in the chat. If you want it, go open it and have both open all day long. You get Neil's positions will be on the left. You get Sean's positions, they'll be on the right. This is the top gainers and decliners. Yes, I realize this is still Friday's data. This will update at the open this morning. Michael Noss has shown me how to get pre-market data included on that. So starting tomorrow, pre-market movers will be in the bottom right corner. News headlines and the economic calendar here as well. Go grab that right now. Again, Bears versus Bulls has the link for you in the chat. That has been a ton of work. Thanks to Mark once again for ironing out some bugs that we'll no doubt have going forward. So have some patience with us. We were just talking about some retail news that we got this morning, guys. Vizio being acquired by Walmart. There was rumors of this going back to last week. Neil, you were already busy with this one.
And look, the thing is, this is look. You like this for Walmart actually, and we always talk about sort of. I mean, Walmart's got basically everything. Let's be real for a quick little second. My one concern with this deal, and I think anybody that's watching this, and I'll get to this from Mr. Westermeyer and everyone that was asking about it in the chat, because you would have seen me in position on it throughout the day. It's $11.50 cash, and it's trading at $11. So you're a good 5 points away here. Call it 4%. But remember a few things. Every single deal that is done by a big cap tech company is going to be under intense scrutiny, regardless of the size. So we've already seen this play through. You saw what happened with iRobot when it fall through. I'm not saying this is going to fall through, but you do have to worry about how long it's going to take to close. The time value money is a bit different because rates are higher. So I would expect that this, I don't think it gets anywhere near $11.50 today. I'd be shocked if it got above the quarter. Ideally, I'd like to be fading the quarter if I'm trading this one, but right now at $11, as you can kind of, trying to zoom in, it's not gonna move much, but you're gonna see it trade in a very tight range. Now I've been mostly long evens and ones, back and forth, but unless you're sitting there trying to market make, trying to take spreads, I think any bigger move might be a chance that it does pop and get anywhere close to like the quarters. I don't think it gets to 11.50 today, and I'd be a seller in that middle of the range because I do expect it's gonna take a bit of time to close. But let's be real, for Walmart here, you're gonna get a brand which allows them to sort of expand their competitive juices into further into the retail space. And my goodness, like the thing about Walmart, like how many times you hear, oh, it's a boring stock and this and that. Walmart's a stock I've loved. I own them over Costco. But when we talk about things like quality companies and the 200 period moving averages, and when good companies are holding that, you should be a buyer of them if you like them. This was one of the better examples of that for the greater part of last year. And exactly when everyone was like, okay, tech, if you were working into Walmart, which again, talking my own book here, if you're working into this, it's been absolutely sort of fantastic for you because it's a dividend payer. Home Depot actually increased their dividend, by the way, despite the fact they're down. They're a dividend payer. They're going to continue to increase their dividend. You call them dividend aristocrats, which you use in the podcast. I love that term. But they're a new 52-week high. You've got the dividend. I think it's the kind of name that gives you a little bit more security in your portfolio in terms of diversification, because they're essentially everywhere. Like you get a little piece of online retail, you get a little piece of the growth in the pharmacies. So it's a little bit techy, it's a little bit growthy, but you're betting on the consumer, you're betting on the economy overall, and it's a good sort of stable name. Now, in terms of trading this bad boy, it's broken out 52-week highs, support to resistance and all that good stuff. I actually thought we'd get a chance at 173. But then this happened, it broke 176, and now you're headed a little bit high for my liking. Names like this, I usually want them on secure dips into previous breakout prices or somewhere in front of it. And the last $3 move that just got put in by Walmart, which is impressive. You saw Bitcoin bounce, market's trying to bounce here. This is not something I would be chasing up 5%, but if there is a sell at the open, I'd look to catch this at 10 o'clock or find a bid at 10 o'clock or somewhere after the morning range. Love the stock, love the move for them. As far as Vizio goes, just get in and out. That's more of like a spread trade today.
Yeah, I was just going to comment a little bit on Walmart here because finally, as Neil mentioned here, like if you've been sitting in this name for the last couple of years, you're fine. Like this is finally the breakout that you're looking for, right? Because like even back here, go all the way back to June, it was $160. It's only $170 right now. So it's not, this ain't no Abercrombie, this ain't no Costco or anything like that. They're a great dividend. Hopefully they can continue to hold it. Nice raise. That's what we liked. For me, it has nothing to do with anything other than great quarter, great dividend, retail space. I don't love it. I'm going to be shorting Amazon. Amazon's been my #1 stock probably all year. We've talked about that, the biggest trade last week there, and then we did it again on Thursday, or I forget which day they were, but we're going to continue to short the retail space. I would be shorting Walmart, but it's not on a day like today, so we'll wait to see what happens here. But yeah, it's nice. It's been finally breaking out. It's been a good one. And ANF is the one that I cannot, like I was saying, it's speechless. Abercrombie & Fitch is making all of these names look ridiculous. Look at this name just continue to climb higher. They report March 6th. Like there's so much talk all about Nvidia, this and that. That's fantastic. ARM, there's so many great names out there. But look at this. Look at this retail name, man. ANF. ANF, a year ago, we were talking about this name down at $24. It's at $124 today. So ANF continues. I just want to bring that to everyone's attention. I don't have a trade there, but I was like, oh my God, how much that name has ran. And then right now, I'm just getting the sticky note out. But yeah, Amazon, wow, great trade in the last little while. We'll continue to hit this name short, AMZN, on my radar early.
All right, let's touch on some of these EV names today, as the guys were mentioning, moving around. Our very own @Trader TV Randy was at the car show here in Toronto over the weekend. I haven't seen him today, but he already sent us pictures. I don't know if he's actually in the building, but we'll get his opinion on it, I'm sure, coming up at some point. So Cybertruck was there. There he is. With the Cybertruck. I told Sharif that there was no chance they were going to let people anywhere near the Cybertruck, and hey, guess what? There was a, 10-foot barrier between people and the Cybertruck. This guy was kind of cool looking as well. This is the VinFast Wild. Kind of a cool name.
Yeah, I like that one. I think it's a nice looking vehicle as well. I honestly would not have necessarily expected it to have been VinFast, which is neat.
Yeah, Randy sent over a picture of him in a Rivian as well. I actually like this as far as a truck is concerned versus the Cybertruck itself, but I don't know, guys. The VinFast Wild, it's a little bit more appealing than the. I don't even know what it is now. That other one they have, it looks like a station wagon.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's more traditional there.
Yeah, he sent one of. He had the Rivian as well, I do believe, when he sent those pics. I mean, you guys are showing the VinFast, because I think most people haven't seen it, and really, most people probably wish they hadn't seen a chart that looks as nasty as VinFast either. So, look, we talk about this all the time when it comes to the EV names and some of these ancillary names out there that, okay, are they going to be around in 5-10 years? Maybe. I think it's a big maybe. You got two of them reporting this week in Rivian and Lucid that have a little bit more cash than some of the rest, which is going to be a very big concern. And when you start thinking about rates being higher, maybe a little bit longer than people anticipated, because that's a little bit of a theme, that's not great for the EV names. And you can sort of see that borne out in some of the charts. I know VinFast, we're picking on them because, look, hey, I think it's a good-looking truck. I mean, I don't know any specs on it or anything like that. I'm not a truck person. But much like everything else, they're just hanging out on their lows. And it's not to say that they couldn't do better. Maybe one of these are worth dart throws. I like Rivian at that $15 level for a while. It's been holding that for quite some time. We're going to get their report this week. I think you start thinking about, okay, well, if one or two of these are going to succeed, then you're going to have some 3, 4, 5, 6 baggers out there in the market. I was just mentioning this in the chat with regards to the Walmart conversation. Like, you can't only ever buy things that look fantastic in your portfolio. If that's, that's fine. If you're conservative, that's one way to go. But there's always that portion of your portfolio where you want to take a few shots or look for what is next or look for that next move. To me, that was some opportunities before the market hit highs to find defensive names trending up, like Walmart was. In a case like RIVN, well, the market's been telling you where it's been supported. It's been showing you this 15 level since it broke out there in the middle of the year last year. And then it dipped down there. You dipped down there once October, dipped again November. Whether you got in there some of the last 2 months or you just waited to the last time we got down in here. So it's given you this nice little bit of a base. And hey, they could be zero in 10 years. They might not be around. It's entirely possible. I think when you look at any of these, I'm not saying VinFast is going to go out of business or that Lucid is going to go out of business or Polestar or any of those, but a few of them are. That's the reality, and it's not going to be one or two. A few of them will not be there in 10 years. But the ones that are going to have some great chances to give big returns, and so you got to pick and choose what you like. As far as the trade goes on RIVN, as long as it's holding the 15, look for longs down there. I think that goes without saying. And then you'll probably get some opportunities on Tesla today if the market stays strong off that $200 level, because they're still the biggest and the baddest.
Yeah, it's literally, again, the only long that I have right on here is going to be RIVN. It's the only long that I trust. Any sort of a dip into $15, I think we should buy that RIVN. And so that's on there. The sticky note is now out. Go find it at Trader TV. Sean, Tesla, RIVN. Yeah, we'll wait to see Randy's thoughts about that. He is here. I saw his car downstairs. But here we go. Tesla right now had a hard time staying above 200, although it didn't really have a hard time. It wasn't up there for very long. So we'll wait to see. The market pulls back in today. Market only down 0.4, Tesla down 1.4. I feel like if you want to short this, you do have the 50 period right here on a 20-minute chart, basically at 200. So this is going to be an interesting name for me. There's that 192 that we talked about on Thursday, Friday. That's going to be, again, was the jump off spot right there. So if Tesla gets down into 192, I think it's a buy. So I do have now, I guess I have to go and update the sticky note, but I think that's another, we're going to have buys as we go, as long as we stay patient, which thank you very much for everybody out there recognizing that that's going to be probably the best strategy. But down here to 192, I think you could buy Tesla, and I think we can do some bigger things as well. And then just last week, I was saying how impressed I was with Adara. And today, she's even outdoing herself once again. Adara, you're a natural up there. Let's go.
There we go. Good to have you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Sean, and happy to be here. Yeah.
How was, you mentioned your weekend. You were up north.
I was up north. Yeah, on Sunday they had this thing that is apparently called a snow squall, which is a snowstorm but colder and more wet. So that was on Sunday, but overall, yeah, not a bad weekend, and happily the snow subsided by the time I was on the bus back. So.
And that's the important part.
That's the important
part. The commute going up north is always a challenge. Wanted to show this real quick. This is the dollar red to start the week right now. That is a weekly chart for the DXY. So we've had this just march back higher to 104. It is struggling right now at 104. Yields across the board under a little bit of pressure as well. A few little ones moving around. This one had a huge day on Friday. Blaze, BLZE. Popped up on a volume scanner back to 12. We'll keep an eye on that. There's also this, RAPT Therapeutics. A few people mentioning this already. The FDA halting clinical trial that they had, which was their main drug candidate from what I was reading. This thing was $27 at the end of the week. We're set to open here at $9 for RAPT.
Yeah, and that's interesting too, because on Friday they actually got a outperform rating from Evercore ISI. So quite a change here. I'm going into this morning from that upgrade to what looks like a bit of downside for this stock heading forward.
We talk about it all the time. When you get into these pharmaceutical names and the therapeutic type names, they put all of their bags or all of their eggs in one basket typically, and touch on one or maybe two different types of therapeutics, and then one or maybe two drugs. So when something like this happens, it's a huge deal for them. 65% right now downside, guys, for RAPT.
Yeah, that's a wrap for that one. Oh, and look, you basically said it right there. If you're a big drug company in the biopharma space, then you have multiple drugs in your pipeline, and if something fails, like how many failures does Pfizer have? And the stock hold, it's like the stock in one day doesn't go down 50, 60%. It might have a really big drawback. It's because they've got other ways of generating cash. But when you get one of these one-siders, you get one bad report, you get one bad trial, you get one kind of setback, and this can happen. And what you should always do is remember that this is ridiculously normal for stocks like this. Like this was up in like 3x in a one-day move, and then like sideways, 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 and then it just basically gets cut in half, and then sideways, 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 and you have multiple times that this stock has had a 50% haircut or a double up. So when you're looking at these, generally speaking, settles down, gets good news, gets a gap back to the upside. You look at the consolidations after a Huadunk down, and they've generally been some good opportunities for some long trades. Huadunk down, and then kind of sideways, 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 a couple of decent bounces. Those bounces are like 50%. So will that happen today? No, it's not going up. It's unlikely to go from $9 to like $20 today. But certainly if this thing can calm down, you give it a couple days or give it a couple of weeks, find some kind of a base, and it can be all right. As far as SSR bounce plays, these ones don't usually fall into that category for me because of the nature of the news, and trying to price any kind of equilibrium is a little bit different from just some random company that is a decent size that might be 10% down on earnings or so and is getting price adjusted. This is a little bit more wild than that. So I don't look for SSR bounces in a stock like this. If it does start going, maybe you can find yourself in a level break. Like I suppose 9 would have looked good early, or maybe you get something through a 10. But liquidity is going to be a bit of an issue with this as well. So I think it's not in my category of, because it's down 10%, I'm going to be looking for long trades. And I think that's important because most times when a stock is down like this, you'll hear me say that. Hey, going to look for some SSR bounces. Not with something like RAPT. Doesn't mean it can't go up. It's just a bit of a different beast with these bio names.
All right. There's going to be tons of those names popping through. Like you mentioned, that Blaze, that's a good one there. One name that could be coming back in a little bit here just with the market pullback. I just feel that there's so many names that have gone all the way up, and we've been really loving Palantir down here. We talked about this pre-earnings a heck of a lot, and now we'll just say it the other way around. It's topped out here at 25.50 a couple times. Even if you talk about there, back on the 9th, then back on the 12th, then back on the 14th, then again on Friday, and then we've started to head back through now. So the only thing I just want to talk about is we could break this 23 at some point here today. So this is probably worth testing as a long because you got to get down $1. And we missed that trade. Remember we talked about buying 23.80 or whatever it was, and then it ripped all the way back up one of those days. It must have been in here. Well, that's where you are right now. So this is going to be a very, very interesting name to watch off the open, Palantir, because if it can hold in and around this 23.80 level, this has sent it skyrocketing. In the past, the last time we held it. This is the last time we even looked at this level. So when we called 23.80, it blasted up to 25.50 within an hour and a half there. So you had a monster move, 10-15% there in just over an hour after hitting the levels that we're at right now. So Palantir also on watch down here at 23.80.
All right, a few other things moving around. I was just noting Roku downside this morning as well, coming off of last week. Could also maybe be on that Vizio note this morning. There's MEDS, another little one. We saw back on Thursday and Friday, actually. Some of the smaller AI-related names moving around. SOUN is back to the upside this morning. SPRC, BFRI, another one to the upside this morning as well. Again, for anyone who's just joining a little bit late, guys, day number 1 for the second stream, and the dashboard, Trader TV Live dashboard is live right now on more Trader TV Live. Make sure you go and subscribe to the channel first off, and then you get this all day, every day. It'll be on this stream every day from 8 a.m. to 8:30, and then at 8:30 it'll flip over to the second channel and be there for you all day long, so you can keep track of what Neil and Sean are doing throughout the day. So let's get into everything else you need to know here as we head towards the open on a Tuesday that feels like a Monday morning. If you haven't done so already, make sure you grab that. Super easy. Go to watchlist.tradertv.live, enter your email address. You can use a QR code bottom left, scan that. It'll take you right there as well. All you need is an email address and it'll come straight to your inbox. All eyes on Nvidia coming up this week with earnings going to be the headliner. A couple of different analyst notes ahead of that this morning. And for the first time in a couple of days, I was noting there's a little more cautious tone, I think, towards this and also to the actual earnings itself. Sean and I were discussing this going back to the podcast on the weekend. If anyone missed that, make sure you go check it out. I mean, it's an important week, not only for the sector, but for the stock itself, coming off back-to-back reports that were absolutely monstrous.
Yeah, and it did really well. And I think, too, part of something that might be worth noting as well is AMD did have lower than expected guidance. So that could be something that might be impacting NVIDIA as well in this AI chip space. That being said, though, they still have been getting upgrades heading into these earnings today. We did get a price target increase from Stifel, HSBC, and Rosenblatt, which actually raised the price target to 1,100. So it seems like as much as there is a bit of a cautious tone, some of these analysts certainly interested in raising these price targets even further heading into tomorrow night.
Yeah, they're very, very long, apparently, heading into earnings again coming up after the close tomorrow. So what do we think here, guys, for NVIDIA today?
Yo, we got Randy here talking cars right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think for me, I'm most nervous. We'll get Randy. I think we will have. I was thinking about we could do like a little bit of a segment of like a 5-minute opinion piece on what you're thinking.
Especially with regards to some of the trucks you saw.
Yeah, we went over some of those trucks. That should be real interesting. There's Randy is here. Okay, so look, I said this at the beginning of the show a little bit here, and I was sort of saying that last week, is that I would expect to see a rollout of NVIDIA upgrades heading into earnings because I don't know, man, this is just me thinking this way. I feel like I don't want to be dumb money, but I always am. It's just like I feel like smart money is getting out on all these upgrades, and we're just going to be wind up holding the bag. But I have no idea what's going to happen with earnings. It's just feeling a little bit weak to me right here. And I mean, what to expect? I mean, the market is pulling down, and NVIDIA is actually holding up quite well. I mean, we're not even down that far. NVIDIA could go back to all-time highs today, and I don't think it would surprise anybody. So I don't want, it's only down 1%. I don't feel like there's too much wrong with this name. I'm just getting nervous about earnings. So I'm going to hold off on any kind of NVIDIA talk there for today. AMD has been the most obvious one. We've talked about them being upside here near that 180 over and over and over and over again. It's been on everybody's radar basically since the beginning of the year. It's bounced his head off here, doesn't seem to want to go higher. They're not going to sell the same way NVIDIA does, but it's the right space, it's the right everything. They have competing chips, and there's nothing wrong with being number two, you know? So I think this is a slippery slope for these guys as well. Basically, I like this short a little bit more safe as where we were on Friday. So I think if you can get up to 175, 176 here on a move back higher for some of these names, then this is where I want to be. But the trade for me moving forward, and it's the number one name today on the sticky note, I already have the stop order in to go short if I can get it. And that's arm breaking through 120. Again, I feel that this is just, we know the story here. SoftBank's going to have to sell. It's been a monstrous move to the upside. Whether or not they're valued fairly, I mean, you know, PEs and price to book is going to be one other thing. Their price to sales. I just look at 120, and I want to see that as a psychological level, and I want to short it. And when it comes through there, I'm going to use the 50-period moving average. So right now it's at 122. So I just want to follow this thing. See like how we kind of followed this all the way down? So let's just see if it wants to break it. Its bottom today is 120, 150. I'll play a short, but the short's probably not until like 125-ish here on ARM. So let's just see what happens. I think this is going to be a name where we're going to have to be really patient with. But I am waiting to break through this 120. Hopefully it breaks it. And I do have an order to go now. If it breaks in the pre-market, fine. It's not going to be huge shares. Let's see if that works. I like the short on ARM through 120 as a psychological break, and then maybe we see 110, $10 straight down. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I think that's going to be somewhere in the 80 to 90 range by the time. Forget about when SoftBank sells. I think by the time you get there, People could have sold it down into that range. I might have been, so I had a few naps on Friday because I wasn't feeling well, obviously. And every time I kind of woke up and I looked at the market, Nvidia was failing $740. It seemed like on Friday. So the dumb money in me actually trimmed a small portion of it. Sometimes I feel like I did that because I wanted to do something in the market, so I wasn't here trading, and so I sold some, not a lot going into this, but like I don't think we necessarily see this 740, but that's the most obvious thing standing out there for Nvidia. So trading off that level would make sense on any market strength, if we even get it. I had a bit of a difference. The only difference I had for AMD was looking at the 174 where we closed, because it was a breakout price and then a double bottom. So I kind of like that level coming back into some resistance. And we're going to talk about Intel, I think, individually here. So that bears watching, obviously, because Intel's got its own news. But I like the 174 level first on AMD. It's only a couple of dollars to the upside. It's a kind of move that you can see off the open when sometimes it does one of those spikes out into it. I had a different, for ARM, the only difference I had was 120 did have some buyers underneath it. So I did feel as if that was more like getting through the 118. If you look at, the daily chart's not that much better. Like if it gets through like the 118, I think it definitely can accelerate. But in the notion of, hey, it's been like a short the pop situation for some of these stocks, short the pop, short the pop, short the pop, I was sort of thinking in the other direction. That's why I was leaning toward that AMD 174. The 128 level looks really good for ARM. I just feel as if the way this market has been going, you've been getting all of these bids at the open when there's been fades on a lot of these stocks. You've had to wade through it though. So you have to be really patient with these pops up. I like a pop up and a firm to short today as well, but I think you gotta be really patient. This is 3 days in a row that this popped at 9:30, and these are not small moves. That's $8 to the upside. I mean, this move here is $6 or $7 to the upside, and then it eventually falls all the way through lows. So you've got to be a little bit patient with that. And again, it's about $6 to the upside to Friday's resistance level. $6 move is 5%. Like that would be threatening to go green at that point in ARM. And it would be similar for AMD if it got to that 74. But I'd still be there looking for the short.
First 30 minutes of the show brought to you by our friends over at Hedgeye. They have 40 stocks and ETF analysts who produce alpha-generating trade ideas every single day. You can get 7 days for free access during Hedgeye's free all-access week. That's this week. Register for free access at hedgeye.com/TTV. Let's talk about Intel here. Interesting note here this morning. It's worth noting Global Foundries higher, $1.5 billion coming through for chip production funding for them. Intel looking at $10 billion possibly coming through from a combination of government and other subsidies as well.
Yes, so this is reported by Bloomberg that some of these incentives will come from the 2022 Chips and Sciences Act. So that basically they've allocated about $39 billion in direct grants and roughly $75 billion in loans and loan guarantees. So that's where the funding would be coming from, and it's just part of a general goal to entice semiconductor firms to produce chips within the U.S. So that's as reported by Bloomberg. Also, Secretary Gina Raimondo has kind of hinted that there will be other announcements within the upcoming 6 to 12 weeks with regards to this act. There could be more funding on the horizon there.
Yeah, bright spot this morning as far as chips are concerned, although we did get back below 45 there, which was a resistance point going back to last week. But looks good here, guys, for Intel today.
Well, it looked better 30 minutes ago, I'll tell you that much. And everybody likes getting free money, so subsidies are going to be good. And one of the reasons behind the turnaround for Intel is, hey, if you're going to want chip production not reliant on halfway across the world, then Intel is going after TSM. And whether or not they get this $10 billion, they are still getting lots in terms of subsidies from the government in the CHIP Act. GFS already got money. Remember, they have a stake in Global Foundries. That was an Intel spinoff, so that's part of the reason why they are up. The bad news for Intel is they didn't have good earnings, and when they didn't have good earnings, it was huadong to the downside. And if you look at me, just my head's in the way here. See if I can just move it a little. There you go. Now you guys can see it. The earnings moved down. There's your resistance. Like it popped up initially after earnings trend, made a bit of a bottom at 43, popped into 45 and failed it. the 45 to 45.5 zone, that's your resistance spot since earnings. Well, what has happened the last 2 times we were at $45? Turn at 45. We talked about this last week. 45 has been a bit of a rejection spot. So I don't think there's anything different about today, other than if it can break 45.50, I think it has a chance at a breakout. It's a strong name relative to the market because of the news, but that resistance, it's pretty clear. I like these after earnings levels that get put in there. And someone was asking about Amazon this morning. You know, Amazon's got a different one. Just to give you, it's an example of the same thing here. When a stock does earnings and then puts in a level, look at 167. Well, if 167 goes on Amazon, that's your gap fill down. You know, the 44.50. So 45.50 on Intel is basically the same thing, just in the other direction. One is support, one is resistance. And those are big levels, because that's where things start to settle down and the money starts coming back in or selling off on earnings as they react to some of the numbers. So you want to take those to heart. Like, these are big levels, and that's what the big money is telling you after earnings.
It's funny right here. What's up? Shout out to Nate Belt right here. I saw the Amazon short Friday. Shh, I won't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody, Nate. Don't tell anybody. I don't know what that means. But we'll tell everybody that we've had some monster shorts on Amazon. It's on here again right now today, 169. Let's see if that happens. We've already talked about it as being the #1 trade there for me for the month. So we'll see if we can do that. And by the way, shh, on Affirm as well. This thing's been given the death kiss a hell of a long time ago, man. We talked about shorting this thing back here in December at 50 bucks. I know some of you covered into 40 bucks, but there goes Affirm. Next stop, I mean, you know, I think 24.5, somewhere down into here. You're starting to break lower right now. So I've already talked about my, displeasure for some of the retail space right now and what I think this could mean for and if and when more job cuts. I mean, if you guys listen to the podcast, that's my only concern right now is jobs. So we'll wait to see here what happens if people can't afford to pay never on Affirm. So we'll see if that happens, but there it is. Out of the money puts, Andrew, on Nvidia. Shh, more. Let's wait. Be patient, everybody. Be patient. I'm here all day. And so is Adara and Brendan at the big desk.
All day long. Sharif under the weather this morning. Adara's with us for the first hour today, and we'll be back for the midday as well at 11 o'clock. Great week last week on the midday. Tons of good stuff coming up this week as well. It'll be OB today in for Sharif, so make sure you stick around for that. Again, the second stream available right now and will be all day long, guys, on the second channel. So go check that out as well. Bears versus Bulls has the link for you. This was the EV or EU-related EV headline for January. That's a significant number, 42.3% downside year over year, or month over month rather, on EV-specific EV car registrations over in Europe. So here's Tesla on a daily chart. We had that huge day on Thursday, breaking that resistance back to 200, but down here on this, it would appear this morning.
Yeah, this data I found really interesting because there's also a 29% year over year increase in the BEV sales, but that month over month drop was pretty significant. And it's also worth noting as well, Germany and France, who have two of the biggest battery EV markets in the EU, actually saw really similar drops. So 59% month over month for Germany and 46% month over month for France, but they both did see year over year increases as well. So it seems like perhaps this could just be a January specific number, but certainly worth keeping an eye on, especially with regards to Tesla going forward here, because that is quite the move to the downside. And
coming off an earnings report, if we all remember, from Tesla, where they indicated that they were expecting things to slow down a little bit. So here we go, guys. But we kind of struggled at 200 on Friday. We'll see if we can't get a little bit of a move back higher here for Tesla today.
So look, the thing is, I wasn't here on Friday to see what the trading at 200 looked like, but as you mentioned, visually in the chart and sort of seemingly what's happened here is another fail of the 200 level and a potential failed break of its recent post-earnings range. So it tried to break out. That 196 got taken out. You didn't get anywhere near the 50-period moving average, which is now at 220 bucks. So it looked really strong. I mean, it ended the I guess it ended Thursday looking ridiculously strong, only to give it all back. So it's obvious to sort of look at that 200 level and want to play fades into it. And when you think about the EVs and being under pressure, well, Tesla has been in a downward trend for quite some time. And when something's in a downward trend, I tend to prefer looking for short trades, especially when it's potentially trying to put in another lower high and it can't get to the 50 period. The other name worth watching, and we keep talking about, I don't think we see the $15 level today on RIVN. It's been a good one. I feel that's a little bit unlikely. It does have some late support in the 1580 range. I think that could easily come into play. Those are the two names I'm always looking at when it comes to the EV space, but I've been giving some credence to NEO here. Like, this is a stock that is about as nasty as it gets on the daily. I won't bother putting it any further back for you, but it's not to say that it's stopped selling off, but most of the crazy down movement seems to have subsided. You've seen Alibaba try to catch a bit of a bid, and some of these Chinese names catch a bit of a bid, and I don't wonder if this is trying to show us a little bit of a nice bottom here. You got the wick into $5. You've now held a higher low at $5.60. The only thing left would be a 6.5 breakout. And we get a couple of other EV names reporting this week, Lucid and Rivian. So I got my eyes on this. I don't think it breaks 650 today. I think that's wishful thinking. But I think if it can get up there at some point this week or in the next couple of weeks, NEO is making enough of a bottoming pattern that I'm going to start looking for some kind of a catalyst to give it that break to a 650. But Rivian 1580, I don't think we see the 15 today. Tesla, the fade around the $200 level. I don't know if it's 200 exactly. I didn't really see that level to trade it, but unless it's like 202, 203, I'd still be looking for the fade there.
Yeah, the only thing I'm looking at on Tesla would be a 192 long right now. I really like the Elon story here of taking that 21%. I still really like it. I like the story. I like these bottoms here at 182. I feel like it's just so overhated that that's what caused this little bit of a move up there. But it did fail up at the top. So this 200 should be interesting. I like to see a 192 come into play at some point right here, and that will be that. So, that's where the 200 period is on the 20-minute chart. We'll see if it can hold it. It's kind of been a top. We talked about 192 and holding there on Friday. So that would be, or whatever day that was, maybe the 15th. So that would be a dipped area right there, 192. So with the market coming back in, I'm only looking at shorts. We already have Amazon, we have ARM on our mind, and we have Apple, which we didn't get to yet. But I really think Apple, again, another name on the sticky note here. Oh, it's starting to go back up maybe a little bit here. So we'll have to see if Apple can be shorted in around this 183. But another name to look short on, as Apple's just been the last couple days pretty red in there. That must be a green day right in there. I wrote down that we had 5 or 6 straight red days, but anyways, we'll see if Apple can stay positive right now today. But another name looking to short in the tech space. They all start with A's today: ARM, Amazon, Apple, Affirm.
Just seeing Adobe CEO is on CNBC right now, so heads up for maybe some AI movement right now. They're talking about AI developments for Adobe. Some retail earnings this morning as well. We did get, so Walmart and Home Depot are going the opposite direction. Walmart's call I just saw started at 8 o'clock. Home Depot just started at 9 a.m. So if you're watching Home Depot here, just be aware there are some headlines coming through. Again, the earnings call started at 9 o'clock. But one of many highlights here coming from the CFO of Walmart. Thank you, Randy. That VinFast, not bad. Probably my favorite. We'll talk after. Randy was saying it's his favorite, the VinFast Wild. But just be aware, again, Walmart and Home Depot calls on right now.
Yeah, it's interesting, too, because both of them did actually have dividend increases as well. So Walmart, 9% dividend increase. Home Depot, 7.7% dividend increase. What seems to be moving Home Depot down, perhaps, could be that even though they did beat sales and EPS expectations, they actually posted a 2.9% year-over-year decline in fourth quarter sales. So that could be what's making this one move a little bit differently than Walmart, even though they both beat across the board in terms of expectations, too.
And both, it's worth noting as well, pointed to, in Walmart's case anyways, record-breaking holiday season shopping as well, guys, which is a good sign.
All right.
All right, so look, man, Walmart, when you're making fresh highs like this, Like I already said I'm not a chaser on this one. I don't think it makes a lot of sense to chase it up. Don't forget, it's not just the dividend increase. It's not just the beat. The 26th is the day of the split, so effectively, I think Friday will be the last day that it trades pre-split. It's going to be a 3-to-1, so you'll come in. I mean, if on Monday morning you're like, if you see Walmart at $59, don't freak out. It's not a don't worry about it. It's just that split. And I do think it probably has some legs into it. Sometimes you buy it into the last couple of days, but it's way too far. 4.5%, 5% is where I saw it. Now you have the earnings call going on. I like the 73 level when I sat down here, simply because that was when you had that earnings top, that was it. And somewhere in front of that consolidation is where I was looking to grab some kind of a dip buy. And it seemed like we were going to get there early. Like that would have been something when I sat down. Now you have to wait for it to drop maybe $4. The 180, I think you're almost picking at levels to try to find some resistance at, which does lead to Home Depot a little bit here. Because Home Depot, this actually rejected multiple times. Rejected 370 last week, the lower high 365. So this at least has somewhere where if there was a pop, you could get like a pop and fade if you're looking to fade some of these earnings here. But both calls going on. This is a wait and see where they're at 10 o'clock for me. I don't like trading anything that has an earnings call until you know exactly how the market has reacted to said call. So I like that 73 on Walmart. I think Home Depot going green today would be an opportunity to look at that 365 for a short level, but neither of those are on the front lines. I think the EV names and the chip names are still at the front lines for me in a firm, to be sure, because that's flat bottom breaking itself.
So I was just going to say, like, Walmart's been obviously a pretty steady climber over the last little while. Just going back to a year. So last quarter, a year ago, we had a nice little dip in. So that was a great buying opportunity down there at 137. But even just a year, this name is only up 10% in a year, which has been great because you get the dividend as well. And it's just going to continue to move higher. I like the split news. It's finally starting to go. You're now all the way up here. So this is where we are today. On this e-signal chart here, it doesn't have today's move, but it's all the way up. So that's what I'm saying. You're finally starting to break out on Walmart. It's been well-deserved. Anybody that's had patience in this name, a nice dividend. I like the stock. And I wrote down here pretty easily on the sticky note, 172. So it's right there, 172 support. Let's just see if it can get up there. I'll be trading Walmart, or down there now. I'll be trading it if it falls back in a little bit. We've seen these names just come in, obviously, off earnings. So let's wait to see. I feel like the longs have won, but a 4% move seems to be a little bit too high. So that's why you're getting a decent little pullback here in Walmart. We were just at 179. Now you're all the way down in, so you just pulled back $2 off Walmart. So I feel like you could get a pushback into 172. Let's sit there with a little baby bid, try it, catch the falling sword if it happens. Otherwise, we'll probably wind up leaving that alone. It's always a pre-market break high or low, but today for Walmart, I don't want to go long on a pre-market high break. It could be right. I think 180 is a little bit too high right now for Walmart, and I could see some selling. So we'll wait for 172 to come in and just respect the work that we've done on the sticky note.
Decent mover back on Friday, if you remember. First off, welcome everyone. Hope you had a nice long weekend. Sharif is under the weather this morning. Adara is with us. Adara and I were just touching on the fact that there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 positive analyst moves on DraftKings this morning after their earnings report going back to last week. So Needham, Citigroup, Guggenheim, Stifel, Truist, Wells, Fargo, Barclays, and Oppenheimer across the board. So worth a watch today anyway.
Absolutely, and I'm seeing some notes here as well from BTID Research, which also increased their price target to $53 today. So yet another one to add to the radar here. Basically, from what I'm reading here, it seems like they had an analytical approach to their price target decision of 53. They said that they see DraftKings continuing a beat and raise pattern. And the earnings were pretty strong across the board. They had a slight sales miss, so 1.23 billion versus 1.24 billion expected, but EPS beat, and they also announced the acquisition of Jackpocket for $750 million. So very strong report across the board, warranting all of these price target increases this morning.
Yeah, just to recap for anyone who missed it, maybe back on Friday, the initial reaction was downside, but just went straight higher, basically back to where it ended the day on Thursday, I should say, to start on Friday by pre-market time. So again, not a lot of volume here, but Definitely worth a note, guys. Lots and lots of analyst moves this morning on DraftKings.
Yeah, 8's a lot. It's a lot of upgrades. You know, these guys, it already failed at 45 a couple times, so there's a breakout somewhere in there. Like you said, the volume's a bit of a problem here for any kind of a move through like that 45 again. We're at 44.20, so you're like a dollar away from Friday's highs. I don't know, like this is one of those file it back away. I actually am going to write it back down on my iPad here because I kind of given up on that move after last week. But certainly when you have it consolidating off that top, I think it's got a bit of a chance here. You're at that time of year, you're going to get NCAA coming in, and football season just ended. So you might think there's a little bit of a lull in betting, but there never really is. There's always something there. And if this is going to break, it's going to need a little bit more volume. I don't know what the catalyst is to get it to make this top break. I feel like the upgrades aren't necessarily going to be enough, but it's on the radar to take out this top on the daily. I'm just a little skeptical it's going to be there today. But I do like this level break. Because we already pressed into it once, pulled back, made higher lows, which is what you want to see on a trending stock. So when it gets there again, if it gets there again, I think we got to look for some breakouts. I just feel like I'm looking for pop and fades, not pop and breaks today. Speaking of what you mentioned a couple times, I'm only going to say it now. We like flat bottom breaks around here. And this is a downward trending stock. I'm just mentioning a firm. You know how we feel about it, but this is already broken through some support at 40. It's now breaking through support after earnings as well underneath the 38 price. Short pops into 38. That breaks short into the 40 level is a different trade. But even a small move can take you back into 36, and then there's nothing on this till it gets down to about $26, $27. That's a 200-period moving average down there. Those are some levels that I feel are a little bit realistic for this stock. I don't believe in that whole all gaps get filled stuff that you hear people talk about in the markets, but it does mean that when you break some of these levels and then get into the gap, well, the gap is there for a reason. There wasn't a heck of a lot of trading there in the first place, and that's why it made the gap. So I think that can happen, and now you're getting a support break here on a firm, which can lead us into it.
I just realized that my trade ideas open. I have to open that up. Yeah, so I always think about whenever we've already talked about a firm, man. I mean, that name's done for now. We'll call it $24, $25 bottom there. But right now, I'm looking at this Palantir breaking back down below 23.50. I think that's going to be a good opportunity to grab into a short possibly, but I want to wait to see what happens here with Palantir today. The last time we were down here, we had a nice move back up. So we're waiting to see about this 23.80 area. I want to be patient with it, but again, if we can get Palantir down near $23, I think it's worth having a look on a possible market rebound. I don't have too much confidence in which way this market's going, but the one thing that I did note earlier that we talked a little bit about here was going to be everybody's favorite coin, Bitcoin, right now as well. Let's make this a little bit bigger. There's the pullback here right now. Let's go over to a 15-minute chart. So there's Bitcoin. Right when we started talking about it at 53,000, we mentioned it went up huge immediately there for some reason from 52 right up to 53 in 15 minutes. And now in the last 45 minutes or so since we've been on the air, this name has really pulled back as well. This name, I mean, it's Bitcoin. So we'll have to watch out for BTC. I just want to bring that to everyone's attention because, hey, we talked about it a little bit. We'll wait to see what happens there with Coinbase as well. A name that I haven't looked at, but I was looking at that 190 last week, and it failed off there. So 190, 192, there's 190 right there in the afternoon on Friday. So we'll see about a possible move a little lower here in Coinbase. But still, Bitcoin's still doing completely fine. I mean, 52.2, we'll see. If it just bounces around there, we could be able to find some good opportunities coming through on this. So Twitter just asked me to review my phone number, so yes, it still is correct. All right, so
authentication.
Yeah, oh yeah. Amazon, Amazon going lower here. Damn it, that was the short we liked.
One note for anybody that was there's a few people mentioning this DFS, not that DFS, which is Daily Fantasy is a fun game, but Discover here they're being bought. It's an all stock deal by COF, so it's an all stock deal. It's a gapper, but probably not a runner. So you got to watch out for COF there. It's like it's $35 billion deal, but it's an all stock deal. So I don't think it's going to make any kind of crazy moves. At the open, going to be watching some chip names. You already know about Intel and their deal with the government. Always good to get that government money. But 45.5 has been resistance since earnings. If it pops into that range, I think it can be a fade. I saw Meta making some moves, but it's Tesla to the downside in the last minute here. Maybe we don't see that $200 level to be able to fade. Tesla already heading to the downside, down $1. I want pop and fades in the firm. Looking at Intel as well. AMD, the 173 level, also going to be in play. But Tesla, a bit of an early mover here. I actually just saw Meta's moving as well at this Tuesday, first day of the new awesome second stream. So you can watch that in the middle of the day. You can have it in the background. But the market's open and we're here. We got it in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
All right. Man, like Amazon's already under 167 right now, so we'll have to find out. I just got into something. Oh, Amazon 168. Okay, so we're short now. Amazon 168. We'll put something in the 50s here. We just got short right off the open. So I was going to actually wait for, I mean, what I wrote down here on Amazon was 169. So right now, we'll see if we could take 50 cents clean here on a little piece. Start the day off with a nice 50-cent winner here on Amazon. But it's just bouncing around the 50s. Let's let this market settle down a bit. I don't know if this is going to be a winner or not. We're still not quite at the levels that we wanted to yet. So here we go. We're short Amazon to start the day. We'll take a bid at 67.50. And here it comes. As it comes back up, this is what we're looking for. So the 200 period here at 68.50.
Yeah, already heading back to the upside is a firm. I want to short some pops on that name. We've already talked about that a couple times. Into 37.5. I'm sitting in front of 38. Trying to be patient. You always want to be patient, especially with the market bouncing a little bit here off of that open. Tesla actually charging back to the upside. It's back at 197, so that could also come into play. If it doesn't break the pre-market high, then that might have to be the first level. We'll be watching some Walmart as well in case it gets down to 173 on that opening rush. Do like some Walmart in a pop and fade. And Intel, okay, it's starting to come to the upside as well. So Intel's starting to come in to potential fade zones. AMD we'll have to really wait for. It's nowhere near that 173.
Okay. So we're starting, like I said, we're just going to start. We're going to be we're waiting for this one right now. We're going to start it up on Amazon. Maybe the market wants to do this again, just going up a small 60 handles here, right back up to the highs of the pre-market, and yeah, still wanting to go. So yeah, it's fine. This is be patient. This is actually good for us as we can wait to see where this market goes and then start to get into shorts at better prices. Maybe the market wants to go. We're still at 17.7 right now. 17.8 obviously going to be some kind of a top. I do have another offer on Amazon at 168.95, which is where we were initially during this move, but we'll take a little bit more now and then wait. Like, again, if we lose on our first trade, fine. I'd rather it be on a short that we've really crushed, and that's been Amazon as of late. So we'll wait for Amazon to get going, and then, of course, ARM, which was the biggest stock for us, again, was the #1 name. We should have shorted up there at 124 when that name ripped up. But we're still waiting for 120 break here on ARM. My bad on that one. We should be short earlier.
I just got into Intel for that $45 level. I just got 93s on Intel. Where's Amazon? And firm's starting to go to the upside. AMD is just tanking only. So look, obviously we know it's strong news on a firm. Just remember, since earnings, 45.5 has been that zone. It cannot seem to get through that price. So I want to take a couple of shots. Pre-market highs up there at that 45.5 as well. So I do want to respect it. SOUN is making some power moves in the small cap space. We do respect that name, but we're looking at some bigger cap tech names to fade into. I want to throw Google upside here for a quick second. 142 on Alphabet. If we get to 142, that would be another pop and fit. I thought it would be the chips first, and for now it's Intel at that $45 level. A firm getting close to 38. Looks like a firm is going to do that thing where it gaps down and then wants to press at the open. So waited for that 38 level. Now it's incoming. Now we'll get into some Affirm.
All right. There's ARM, already $1. I mean, unfortunately, we did miss. Oh, I don't have the stream deck open. We're huge right now. I don't have anything else to tell you guys other than what we're doing. I mean, there goes ARM. We talked about 120, the #1 name on the sticky note right there. We didn't get the 120 break. We had to get a 119.50 when it pulled back up, so we got 119.37. Now $1.10 in the money. We already took $1 on half. Let's wait to see. And then honestly, guys, market goes green. Nah, market goes red. Look what we're doing on Amazon. I mean, what we're doing on Amazon here should be criminal, but we're still doing it. Nice move to the downside here. Let's see if it goes any lower than that. But right now, 2 for 2, guys. It's a big banger on Amazon, and ARM is $1.50 in the money. So here we go, man. Like I said, please, it's not me. It's just the trades. But we're here for you every day. What's up?
Iovance making a really nice move to the upside, got a nice push on volume right at the open here. IOVA is the ticker. This one announcing early this morning that they're pricing a $211 million underwritten offering of common stock to support the launch of this drug for advanced melanoma. On Friday, this one received advanced FDA approval. Now, 8:35 this morning today, this WMT Advanced Therapies is receiving FDA approval to manufacture this drug. So lots of big news for this melanoma treatment for IOVA. Worth noting as well, this one has a 16% short float, guys.
We like that. I mean, obviously going to be good news, and never bet against the news there, but watch out when you're trading some of those low floaters. Intel just popped back down through 45, so you're going to get the rejection of the 45 level again. Just got some out there in the 70s, and then Affirm doing what Affirm does. It got to that 30, almost to 38, 37.85, curled in there, grabbed some at the 70s. It's now popped down into the 30s. I want to get something out in front of 37. You can see at the open, that was the bottom. Right in that opening minute or so, it popped out that 37 level right into 38. So if you get that dollar retracement, want to make sure we're grabbing some profit back down into it. RIVN is going in the other direction. It didn't quite get the 15.8. That would have been the level I was looking at. 16, I guess, stands out there as well. But RIVN looking relatively strong this morning. So looks pretty good. They report later on this week. But it's a pop and fade. Look to pop into some shorts. And that's exactly what we got. Intel and Affirm. AMD is going to have to wait. AMD's absolutely tanking here. We did like this one short as well, but it didn't give me the opportunity to get in. Might have to look for something back into the 170 range here. As this market looked like it wanted to break out, now we're headed right back into the downside. We're almost 0.5% down on that NASDAQ.
All right, 122. Yeah, like I said, guys, I mean, the stuff that we're doing here on Amazon, this is why you go back to the well over and over and over again. You just go back to the names that have been on your radar. And Amazon right there, like we know what we've been doing to this name, and we'll just continue with it right now. Amazon continues to make a move to the downside. Now $1 in the money off that call. Pretty easy peasy, as they say. And then we just went back over and we said thank you very much to Affirm as well. So we're short on that one. We'll see how low that one can go. And ARM right now is $2 in the money off of that sticky note level, again, of 120. So, I mean, we're just right now cruising. We've already sort of hit the goals that we put out for ourselves, but we need to get a little bit bigger. We've talked about what kind of a run we've been on. Right now, $2 in the money on ARM. $1 on the money here, and then we'll wait to see what happens with the firm. But we still need to get some more shares going through here on something. Well, we don't need to do anything. Let's just check out what's going on with RIVN. Again, I might just sit in these, guys. RIVN down 1% now. Look at this huge move to the downside on RIVN again, straight fire. I'm just going to try to milk, honestly, this Amazon position. This Amazon position should be something here for the ages. So let's see how far down we can go on this one. We're now $1 and change. ARM is $2.50 in the money. I mean, this is just going to be one of those days again. Let's see where we go, but so far so good here on the day. Affirm, big one. Well, not big, only 30 cents. Amazon, $1, and then ARM. But I'll take another piece out on Amazon right now at 50s as it continues to make a move down. Sorry, that's ARM. There's the Amazon trade right now, getting some more out. So far so good here as we just sit back and chill.
Absolutely, and look, this hollow, whatever we call this stock, it's hollow. Halted now, downside halt. It's flushed like $10 since the pre-market tops. So watch out. It's opening up in a couple of minutes, and the tap is actually higher. So theoretical auction price on HOLO is $44.50 on a $43.70 halt. This is the kind of name that can halt multiple times, but if you're looking at the chip names, well, they're all to the downside. It is a red start. Your gates of hell on Nvidia. Almost 700 in play here on Nvidia, dragging everything to the downside. Again, I don't see re-entries in the two things I'm short because they're not at the levels. If we get pop, we'll worry about that. SMCI busted through $800. Now it's $750. This is also flushing. Don't really see many things that are at any long bouncing levels, but the market is at those lows. If you're so inclined, Rivian was strong. Might get a shot at that 15.8 level as that came back in. So some of the EV names, at least a couple of the EV names, showed some strength off the open. Rivian's trying to hold 16 even. 16.01 just bounced now. If it gets down there again, I don't see that much of a bid at 16, but it's worth a couple of cents worth of risk if it can show me a buyer down there. CC is also halted at SISI, so there's a couple of small float runners running around here. As far as a target for Intel, I do like yesterday's or Friday's close back down around that 43.50. If it gets into VWAP, I'd look to reshort this one, but hey, just let it fall.
Just updating the sticky note here. I can't even feel my hands. I don't know why. Okay, so hopefully I'll get better. ARM right now, $3. We're just going to wait for it. This is going to be a big one here, back into the downside. So breaking the 120. This is going to be a big one. I mean, I don't know. You guys can take it out if you want to. It's just kind of bouncing around here. It is $3 in the money, so you guys can do that. We're also $1.50 in the money here on Amazon. And like, honestly, I don't have... maybe we'll just get some out on a firm here, hanging out. I mean, I don't know what to do. ARM, I told you that this was a possible $10 winner on ARM. So why do we want to get out of it? I don't know. All right, so there goes a firm. So we just take a piece out on that one. We'll face slap. Yeah. You might be right, Nunya Biz. Yeah, all right, let's just see what's going on right now. Amazon, Affirm, and ARM. I mean, we are just really, really starting to get going now on Amazon. Again, like on the sticky note today, we have ARM. I mean, look at the two names that we have. Again, people always asking about this. There's ARM 120 short, so that's $4 in the money. There's Amazon short, you know, that's $2 in the money. So right now, we're just gonna go 2 for 2, and it's $9.41 right now. All right, so Amazon is continuing, man. I think this 166.50, let's just take another piece out right here if we can get at 71s, and there it is. So, all right, this is starting to be a real good day, man. If Rivian keeps going down, maybe that's something that we can start to look at again for us. But yeah, today is one of those days, just again. I told you, man, we did it with Neil here on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday with Obi, and we're doing it again right now. So just, look, keep supporting the show. We have that second stream up. Go find that, put both streams up, get that going, and we're just happy to be here every single day, man. There's Bitcoin back through 53, 52 now, back down to the downside as Ethereum tops 29.
Yeah, watch out for Coinbase and Mara as you see as you rightfully mentioned, Bitcoin pulling back a little bit there. But the NASDAQ, guys, the NASDAQ just bounced off last week's support level, at least attempting to. 17.55. Got it marked off because we bounced there last week. You got to respect levels like that. We just bounced 44s on Intel. That might turn into a bit of a supply zone for Intel, but higher low here on Affirm. So holding just underneath VWAP. That would be, look, if this puts in a higher low and retakes the high, I think you wait for 38s to reload it. But for now, I want to still work this to the south side. I do want to remember, thank you, Willis Addison, for the super chat there. We appreciate you. Roku is SSR because of what happened to it on Friday. Down 8%, but it doesn't have to hit 10%. It is already going to be short sale restricted. There is not much in sight for this in terms of support. 65 is a round number. 60 is a round number. Those are the only two places I'd look for a bounce. But if this gets back in, look what happened at the $68 level on Roku. If it were to regain that, I think it could be a little bit of a mini squeeze on Roku. So just throwing that one out there. Rivian, as mentioned, it just got to 15.8. Just because I like the level doesn't mean it's showing any signs of a curl. I need to see strength and buying at that level, and I ain't seeing it right now. Right now, I'm just seeing continued weakness. If it can start to show some kind of a round off, this would be the area that I liked Rivian initially, this 1580 area, but the market's still bleeding right through this.
Yeah, I was looking, actually, I just had Rivian up myself, thinking about that name. All right, what do we want to do with ARM? I mean, it's at 115 now. We're short right now, 119. Just trying to think about what to do with it. Like we don't really have any levels here. I mean, we could get out at 115 and then re-short this thing into 110. and then just see where we go with it. We're already out of, I don't know how much we had there on Amazon, but like I said, this is going to do it again for me here today, where we just have the one trade. And you don't need many more than that, but we do have more than that. That's the thing. Affirm right now still doesn't want to go, man. I'm looking at a break of this bottom of 36.80. Maybe we could put a piece down there in case we do break that. But we were just looking for all the shorts when this market was going insane earlier, and that had been a really good call to go for those shorts. But for right now, like, look at RIVN. We talked about possibly liking this name down here. If you have any of those patented stink bids, this could be one of those. But you're a couple days away from potentially a disastrous report from RIVN. So you're going to have to wait for them to come through, talk more about their R2 and everything like that, that new platform. So we'll wait for it. But right now, Amazon's trying to bounce back a little bit, which is good. Like I said, we're under 10%. I'm just not sure of the exact number. So that's been a good one. And then after that, we'll go to the desk and speak with Adara.
Hey, worth keeping an eye on BFRI. This is Biofrontera. This one currently halted. Really small float here, 884,000 shares, market cap of 1.14 million. So that seems to be the main story moving this stock today. In terms of catalysts, also, they did announce a $16 million private placement and an update in their supply agreement with regards to this amylose treatment. The main story here, though, definitely does seem to be that short flow, small market cap, guys.
I can't even feel my fingers.
What's weird is, like, I feel like it's getting warmer in here, but it could just be the market heating to the downside. I'm looking at all this red, and then I'm thinking warm.
Well, see, the patient zero morphed from, it went, I like denied you, and then it went all the way to Sharif. So mine.
It sealed through the wall?
Yes, mine.
Sailed through the wall?
Yeah, I got the block on, but hopefully it doesn't get to Adair or anybody else.
Oh, there goes. So I'm now out. Intel just ticked off the 44 level again. Bounced off the 44 level.
Talk.
I know I didn't quite get 45s because it broke it. I got 93s down, and then we'll get it out at 13s there. It didn't quite get to VWAP for a reload, but we'll ring the register. I like that sort of defined area trade there, 45 to 44. I still think there could be more, but the market's starting to bounce off that level, that 17.55. So what was the only thing that I thought had a little bit of pep to its step? Well, early on, RIVN was up, but it just bounced off 70, so that's in the range where I would like the dip buy. It's going to go for it in the 70s, giving it to this local bottom here at 1570. Reason I like it, you had a breakout there on Thursday. Obviously, that's the last week. Yeah, I didn't trade on Friday. It was nowhere near that price, so I like it off this 70 level. But not going to give it a wide berth. I still think this is a little bit bearish, so I don't think this is one where you dig in too deep. It's just a bounce play in the area I like, give it to the local bottom, and then work from there. Affirm, I still think we got to look to short some kind of a pop, but this never even broke the lows. So yes, good to take profit. Would be even better if this was retesting lows. The market's breaking lows. I'd like to see this taking lows when that happens.
Yeah, Capital One making some moves to the upside. We had that Discover talk as well. So it's just some talk about that real quick. Let's just check back in on Walmart right here. Find out what's going on with them. There it is. So we talked about that possible area here being of interest up to 180. And as I think the call is going on, so as that's happening right now, we'll find out about Walmart. But it just made a move up to 180 to 150 before falling back in, but not much, and respecting VWAP down there at 178. So that's the trade for me when we talk about earnings plays, is trying to respect some kind of a VWAP bounce or something like that. So wait to see what happens here with Walmart up at 180. It's probably a decent short, but I don't know. JP Morgan, just because, again, on earnings plays, you guys have heard me sort of rant on this a couple times. So, all right, JP Morgan, what's wrong with the chart? Nothing, okay. Not really moving, but JP Morgan at again highs one more time in and around that 180. This name just continues to impress me every single day, is this JP Morgan. So the only other positions we have right now is Affirm $2, Amazon $1.50, and Affirm 30 cents, ARM 250. Remember earlier I said it's going to be the 3 A's on the short side today? The only name, and so we have them all, and they're all right here. Affirm, Amazon, Apple was the other one. So let's go over and have a quick look at Apple. I really like the short in this name. Fortunately for me, but unfortunately for me, I only went over to Amazon and really nailed that one. 182.25. This is also down $1. So Amazon's been the better short, but Apple down there bouncing off of another key level in and around that 180.50 area. So that's going to be a good one. Let's just look back here to see if we can get the 50 period is all the way at 183. So we still need a little bit more work here on Apple before I short this. Like up maybe another $1 in change if it wants to rally back, maybe up to like 180, 150. We can short that off VWAP. Let's try an Apple short if it gets a little bit going back up to 180, 150. But I feel like holding on to everything. We could have got out of ARM for $5. We didn't do it. So I'm not going to do that. I want to wait for it. We said we get out once it breaks the 50 period moving average. So that's at 120.50. So I'm going to hold ARM until it's a loser, I guess. What's up, Adara?
Yeah, there's some interesting news here with Nikola, NKLA. So apparently this 4.5% shareholder, M&M Residual, has nominated 5 directors for election to the board. Now, this is interesting because on February 9th, the Nikola board rejected 5 directors nominated by this company as well. So we'll have to see if these are the same 5. This is all I'm seeing currently on this. This is also being heavily discussed on social media as well because there is a really high short float on this stock, about 18.8%. So I'm going to see if there's any other news on this, but this seems to be this news with the M&M Residual nominating 5 directors for election to the board, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, and we talked about crypto a little bit as well. So good look on Nikola. If it does get to $1, you know how I feel about that dollar level. I'm actually going to try and get some locates on that. Just send a message to Brinkles. Coinbase, like the other crypto names, all to the downside. It rejected 190 on Friday. It continues a little bit lower here. Oh, there it goes. We're even through 170. Sorry, 1570. It's not going to be able to hold on. If you continue past 175, I don't think it's all that likely, but 161 I got marked off for some potential support here on Coinbase. But the 175 breakdown on Pops, it's a good psychological level, but got to show you RIVN. The shorts are definitely paying off. Looked for the bounce play, gave it to that local bottom at 1570, does not hold on to it on the initial bounce, so I don't need to force the action here. I do want back in on Intel, short if I can get VWAP, fantastic. It already gave you a couple of points to the downside. I know it's up 1.6% on news, but that doesn't mean necessarily it's going to hold it. Now Affirm is at the low of the day. So Affirm is now at that low of the day. Looks like VWAP could be a good retracement level here. It rejected 37.5 on the way to the downside. So hang on to your butts. But I see Nikola up that much. Oh, no, forget about it. A second ago, Nikola was pressing the highs, and I was going to pay for some locates to look for a fade. Nikola already pulled back 5%. So, yeah, I don't know if we're going to get that one anytime soon. I'm still going to pay for the locates anyways, but that already pulled back off the highs, it seems. Dang it.
Okay. Right now, just hear my ear, UAL just going up to new highs. I mean, we've seen this airlines move around some
Boeing's
names. Yeah, so look at UAL, man. Wow, boom. Straight up there, $1. Nice move here. 43, 42. Yeah, it could be something there. This could be a nice top, actually. Anyways, nice move for UAL. We'll try to bring you guys all the news that we see here. And the movers, and that's UAL. Look at Bitcoin hovering around. Let's go check out. Oh, there's Patrick. Let's go see what's happening with Mara right now here. Happening for this one. Okay, so a nice move down. Obviously, we talked about that starting the day at 53,000 there for Bitcoin, which we made that top at 28. $3 basically straight to the downside. A little bit of a stop there in and around 27. So we've talked about trading Mara before. You have to look at both names. So it's like, you know, watching Bitcoin, watching Mara, and then potentially watching out for Coinbase as well. I need to go get another coffee. 173 breaking a little bit lower right now. So we'll have to watch out for that. Okay, so Coinbase down 4%. Look at this, a nice little size piece there. 173, 500 there, it's gone. 50,000 shares just got eaten up there pretty easily. Okay, ARM, $3 in. I don't have any bids. Told you what we're doing for that one. Amazon now $1.50 in the money. And by the way, Ciao Bella right now goes Affirm straight down into the downside right now as well. So let's take another piece out right there and just face slap ourselves for what we're doing today. It's been a big day one more time here, and just thank you so much for joining us. This is what we do all the time here on Trader TV, right? Try to give you guys the bangers. So we're gonna go 3 for 3. We don't do that every time, but we're definitely been trying as of late. So there it goes, man. ARM, you want the big winners here? How about this? ARM $3, Amazon $1.50. $44.50. Affirm, Neil, you probably covered as well.
It just bounced off a little.
Yeah, we just got out there at the bottom pretty much for Affirm, and that was 80 cents. So yeah, man, things are rolling. I hope you guys are having a good time. Second stream is now live, baby. Go check it out.
Yeah, I think Bears versus Bulls. For anyone asking about the link to the second stream, so you can have them both up. Bears versus Bulls has got that locked and loaded for you. So we're bouncing off 44 here. I have a trail on Affirm, it could get trailed in a couple cents. We'll see. And not yet, but it just got close to those 10s. If it holds that 77 level, I want to get out. But I'm sitting here, I'm looking for offer on Intel still. I don't see why we're not looking. I mean, it just bounced off 44. If it holds this consolidation, like 44.5, that can be a nice reentry into a 44 even dollar break. But this market just continues to bleed to the downside. The 17.55 is all you got left on the NASDAQ. So if we hold on to that, maybe you bounce and get to 17.6. That's where I'd be looking for these pop and fade style plays. I still believe that RIVN is one of the few names. I'm not going to stray away from the plan of action. I liked RIVN for some long plays already going into their earnings, potentially, and it just bounced. It was attempting to bounce off 15.7, so nowhere near that support bottom, but holding again at that same area we liked it before. So double bottom down here at the 70 area. I'm going to take a second salvo at it. The two shorts have worked. I want to get back into one of them, which would be shorting Intel. I'm still looking for that bottom on RIVN. I note that you are seeing some of these small caps going crazy. Nova's making some big moves. I know Blink's moving. Nikola, I got my eyeballs on. I do want to short that one if it gets close to $1. But RIVN, once again, long in the 70s, looking for the press back into VWAP.
All right. Okay, I guess I can kiss my 178, or 172 on Walmart and think about regrouping.
I should cancel that.
That Intel is...
Walmart's strong.
Yeah, I know. We talked about Walmart. I was over that 180, 150. Yeah, I know ARM's at resistance. I want to... I could keep getting out at 116, guys. That could be something for everybody. But Intel right now is at the 50 period on the 20, and it's at 44. The 50 period doesn't necessarily mean anything. That's not what I'm basing it off of. It's just that we're at $44 right now. So I'm not necessarily thinking long anything, but this could be a long, down here. It was a nice little bottom there. The market's trying to figure it out. Right now we have MEDS moving around, $13, really starting to go meds here off the halt. It just halted, I think. It just resumed trading there. So $11. Now it's going to halt again here for meds. So if you're watching meds, you might want to get on them because right now it's $13. So there it is. Nice move up for meds. Was 4 today earlier, up to 17. So I'll move this over so you can see it. Now halting again right now at $13. With a tap. Remember, these taps aren't super accurate early, but it's tapping 15. So the theoretical auction price right now is that. So we'll figure out what's happening right here with meds, but it's halted now upside. It's tapping 1750, but that's not going to be accurate. We'll have to wait for that one. And then
70, yeah, that's no way.
Yeah. It was wild there last week as well. And then there goes AMD. And honestly, guys, we've been sort of talking about Nvidia for a very, very long time and the destruction potentially in this name. So let it begin is what I say.
I think it's already begun. I thought maybe you'd wait until this week, specifically their earnings, but some people seem like they want to get out in front of it. You saw SMCI also eventually with that 20% move down. It's still weak. There was just a nice pop into the 80s on RIVN. I was able to get some out there, but still holding on to the greater portion of this position. 73 is the average price. I did get in twice. I was able to get both 73s and some 74s there. So my average price is actually 73 and a half. If this can bounce the VWAP, I'd be perfectly happy with that. Intel's still trying to bounce a little bit here, and I do want to fade it, but you're not getting that much pep off this 17, off that 17.5 level just yet. So let's be patient. It would be easy to just jump into this and short the first available pop since we got out, but I want to give it a chance to get into VWAP in here. You don't want to throw away that early morning money on those shorts by getting in too early on the reloads. Let's go back to the desk with Adara.
Yes, so some context on that move for meds, MEDS there. On Friday, announcing that they have sold some assets from their subsidiary to this Micro Merchant Systems for about $22.5 million with a potential additional $7.5 million payout. More important thing to note here as well, though, is that this one does have a float of about 859,000 shares. Very small float here for MEDS, guys.
All right. BFRI, just to go over some names here because we're still watching. BFRI just resumed trading and halted immediately. BFRI opens and then within 1 minute halts again. So there it is. So this is going to be, they're all, because it's only $1, you know, you have a 10% move and you get halted. So that's the thing about these names. You got to be careful with that, right? So halted again, BFRI. I'd like to start talk about it again, but it's not really doing anything right now, so it's halted. So we'll watch out for that. Okay, so we just got more short into ARM, and we're getting close, man. Basically breaking back above 120. I think we can probably wait for this like 120.50 area or so on ARM before we're definitely wrong on this, but we're getting pretty close. I mean, I think, yeah, let's change that. So my stop was 121 break, but you can see right now that it's clearly starting to make moves a little bit higher here. So we're gonna have to readjust that. Let's just go to 120.50. Sorry, what it was, I don't know if I misspoke there. It was 121, my stop, but now the 50 period's come all the way back. And that 50 period is actually right now at 119.60. So I'll take a little bit more here on ARM, but it's already sort of breaching back above some of the areas that we didn't think that we would revisit. So right now, ARM's coming back up, so be very, very careful. Leading index right now, minus 0.4%. We can go over to Adara. We do have a number if you want, Fabian. Only if she's ready there, because we do have a number that's out right now. So we'll go over that in a minute. Here comes ARM right now making a move back up. So watch out for that US leading index right now, minus 0.4 versus minus 0.3. Let's go over to the desk with Adara.
We do have that CB leading index coming in a bit lower than expected here, negative 0.4% versus the consensus of negative 0.3 and forecast of negative 0.2. It's also lower than the previous of negative 0.1. So overall, a downside move for that CB leading index month over month. SPY right now is slightly negative amidst a lot of weaknesses in some of these chip names, some of these EV names as well. Heading into especially important to note Nvidia earnings. Nvidia trying to make a bit of a recovery back towards that 700, but still down about almost 5% right now, despite some positive analyst notes, including a price target increase from Rosenblatt to $1,100 ahead of its earnings after market close tomorrow. Also worth note, a lot of EV weakness across the board. This is just showing Tesla up here. Reuters reporting based on some data from European Car Administration that EU registrations for EVs in January are down 42.3% month over month. So a lot of these EVs feeling that to the downside today, guys.
Hey, honestly, guys, I was gonna go get these hands a little bit warmed up here, but how the hell are we gonna do that when we just took $1.50 again on ARM? So, I mean, it just cranked lower right there, man. This is going to be, again, hopefully just one of them days. But for right now, don't take it personal. We'll see if it goes even lower than this for ARM. Sorry if you guys are long ARM, but we're short it and we're cashing out on ARM one more time. So we just got out of about 30% of what we had. So it was resisting 19 twice. So we got two parts out there. Then we just got a 118.50. We still have the exact same target on, guys. If ARM falls back, or sorry, gets back to the upside and retakes that 120.50, then we're going to get out of it. So we're starting to get more and more out of ARM here. I'd love for this thing to fall back in again, but it's pretty strong. Look at the market. Nice weak side move in the market. And we're cashing in on Amazon. Affirm is $1 in the money. But for right now, it's ARM that is kind of bucking the trend here. So be very, very careful. There it is, man. Another move higher on ARM. So there it is. So it looks like here it goes. So we'll probably get stopped out. So this is why we wanted to talk about it. We had our targets. We probably should have taken that out right there. Excuse me. We're letting it breathe just a little bit more. Here goes ARM. We're going to be stopped out at a 120.50 break, which is imminent. So looks like ARM will fail on this last little reload here for ARM.
Speaking of fail, RIVN didn't even get to VWAP. It bounced, it did bounce, got into those mid 80s. I took half of it out, was able to get some at the 85, but it's right back into the lows. I'll try it one more time. If I can see another low, wick higher, hold a higher low, then I'll get in. Has to hold a higher low or I'm not reloading this. Well, I thought maybe we'd get VWAP on Intel. Instead, Intel just straight up broke 44. So there's that. Would have been nice to have gotten 44.40. Sometimes you can be patient and you don't get the opportunity. But it does make that flat bottom break. It held 44 once, twice. You can call it 3 times technically, but it's through it. I got 97s on the way in, got some out for a scalp trade at 90. If we hold underneath 44, as mentioned earlier, 43.5. That was Friday's close, 43.5. If it gets down to that price, every 50 cents is a dandy on this. But I already rang the register once on a breakdown. We're hanging on to a firm. It's over $1 in the money. But this market is trying very hard to bounce off 17.5. I don't have many things that I like in the long end of the toolbox except for RIVN. And I'm looking over there at Tesla. It's doing some work at 192. 192, Thursday's late morning push. I mean, this ramped off a higher low at 192. If Tesla can hold this level, I think Rivian's going to be good to go to get at least VWAP. But I'm watching Tesla really closely. It's not that it has to follow Tesla. It's just that I don't think that Rivian's going to have too much of a chance if Tesla can't hold on for the goods. I did pay for locates on Nikola, but I was a little bit too slow to get them. Thought that was an easy fade because it hasn't been able to break that dollar level. It double bottomed at 84. Maybe this can bounce off VWAP, and then there's bounce off the lows and give me a VWAP retracement short in the 80 range. I'm not going to chase this one to the downside. It would have been nice to have grabbed it. I did think that was an easy short up there, and it gave you the double top, but we had to pay for the locates. I wasn't quite fast enough to get them on Nikola. Let's go back to the desk with Adara.
This one a little bit less parabolic, but another small cap runner here. APLT, Applied Therapeutics, this one running for the 3rd day in a row after announcing some positive trial results on Thursday for a sorbitol deficiency. In general, this company does do rare diseases, so good look across the board here for APLT, looking to run for a 3rd day in a row, guys.
So you'll see Rivian came out again. I always say the best thing you can do if you've got something you like and it's not working is just get out. So 1 for 3 on Rivian. It's close to flat, but slightly down because we only had that one bounce at the second entry there. But I did add into that one on the way upside. So it's like it's really 3 trades because I did decide I wanted more shares of it. Intel. Oh, did I just get it all out? Yeah, we just got all out here on Intel on that breakdown. So if you look at what's going on here, we're still kind of holding 15.5 area, but this was that resistance to support notion. I always try to play those resistance to support down around this 43.80. And just the J-Mott in the chat was like, I don't know why I don't just trade Intel with you. You got to trade your own book. Whatever you like in the chip space to the south side, it's working today. You're definitely printing if you're short something in the chips. You just got to find the level you like. I liked Intel in that 45. Simply because it's already rejected it multiple times. So we were watching this 45 level all week. You go to the daily chart, it flunked it on earnings, and that was that early resistance level on an earnings play, so I had my reasons for liking it. But if you're short AMD, you're winning. If you're short Nvidia, you're winning. If you're short SMCI, you're winning. If you're shorting ARM, you're winning. So it doesn't really matter as long as you can find the entry price that you like. The overall direction was just looking for some shorting opportunities. The bull is literally, I mean, I don't know what the bull's even doing here. The bull is just flat on its face on the desk, but I still have it on the bear because I'm thinking after last week, we're still in the midst of a pullback phase. I'm going to cancel my AMD VWAP 168. A lot of times you look for levels like that after it's shown it to you to be able to jump back in and get some momentum. But when it cracks 165, I don't need to be sitting on the offer $3 away. If it goes up 2%, I can round my way into some kind of a short. It'll be there for me. We can be patient with it. I'm going to move my trail on a firm. I think we're now shooting for this to hold pre-market lows. So it just wicked it once, 36.8. So I'm going to give this bad boy to like 36.85, 36.90 on a trail and try to let this one ride because the market is still in that push to the downside. Anything you like short, I feel like you'll want to stay short and be very patient looking for those bounces. I know some people are looking at meds. My take on these small cappers that are running like a meds, until they stop halting every 5 seconds or like it opens up and it trades for, it seems like 5 seconds, maybe it's like a minute or so, and then it just goes into another halt. There's not much of a trade until it starts consolidating and it stops doing this halt-to-halt trading. Once that happens, maybe you can find a level, could be 10, I don't know, could be 11, I have no idea. wherever it happens to be, I'm going to wait for that before I give this one a look. It's halted downside now, but that doesn't really mean anything. It's got to stay open for more than a minute or two before you can start digging into a name like this. So be careful with that meds trade. I'm out of Intel, but I am looking for another reentry. Could be 44 even, could be 44.35 in VWAP. Just be patient and take the stairs down.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one more piece here on Amazon. I've been patient with it. I mean, we could have reloaded it up there at 167.50, but let's just get another piece out right now. And by the way, just as we had talked about this, I've now moved my stop to 121. We never got stopped out there. It came back in, and we got a 1.8 like arm. I was gonna say it kind of just like a little bit of a crash. I was gonna say like it flashed down a little bit. I went and got a tea, by the way. I got some lemon ginger up in here, so hopefully. That could taste nice, as my hands are still freezing here, which is never a good sign. So anyways, here we go. So we did get that move down. So 118.27 there. So just to let everybody know, we're now sort of regrouping a little bit here with our expectations on ARM. We've now gotten out of pretty much like 70% of our trade on ARM. So we're not going to let this one get too far away from us, but we'll wait for it. Don't tell me Intel bounced off that 43, did it? Because that was a level there.
Oh, it's frustrating.
Yeah, downside. So there it goes. Bounced off. When we talked about that 44 being potentially a key level there, and there it goes. I know you're probably frustrated because you were short, right?
I got out the second short too.
Yeah, I mean, yikes, man. Like I said, we've been calling this for a while. Like on last week's recap show, all throughout the week, man, every single person I had on, we were talking about the impending move in Nvidia.
Hey, Bob was 72 here again.
Bob was coming to the downside. Thing is like,
well, everything's
I
coming
want
to the downside except for Walmart.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe it's just Apple. We should be looking at that 180. I mean, Apple's going to break 180 right now. It just sucks because this is another name that we should be short. We talked about this. I mean, if you guys ever
the break.
If you guys ever want to bias, like I don't know why this is a bull, but today we had and we talked about this. It's all over the sticky note. Everything's a short. The only level we liked long was RIVN, and we actually talked about it in our note that we're looking short today. And it's just like, there it is. So it's really worked out for me to try to go one way on some of these plays. So right now, ARM, by the way, is making a strong-armed move right back up to the upside right now. So we can try a short into here, but yeah, it almost took out. Oh, we should have reloaded it, I guess. It almost took out that 121. I don't know why ARM is so strong here when we have the market at the lows, Nvidia at lows, AMD at lows, Intel's at lows. So the only thing that's maybe not at lows is lows because of Home Depot. But we can have a look at that as well. But anyways, this one's going, so now when a name confuses me, it's not really, like we'll try it against that 121. We'll take another little piece here, but this is obviously a story here still. Like ARM right there, we could have just made $1.50 by reshorting it there, and we didn't. So that's my bad. But right now, look, man, we're at the highest spot we've been at all day. So we need to get going at some point here and even get lower so we can make some real cash. So here comes the break lower. Hopefully ARM can go. There's Amazon. I mean, stupid me. We only got out for $1.50. It's now $2 in the money and Affirm's $1. So we've got a couple dollar club winners right now. And ARM just was, but then bounced again off 19. So I don't know, man. This is starting to go a little bit different to what I was expecting here with our friend ARM. And Shopify down again, man. Shopify's down 4% again and looking lower. Another name we talked a little bit about there on the podcast.
Yeah, I found that interesting. There was a good discussion on Shopify doing what I think is relatively good compared to when you look at the retail space. We'll get to them a little bit later, but I wanted to mention PayPal here because we've been talking relative strength and weakness. So at this time of day, you're hanging on to shorts. I wish I was still in Intel. I'm going to short the next available pop into VWAP if we get it, when we get it, hopefully. But PayPal's at the high of the day as the market's at the low. That's usually a good thing if you're looking for longs. It's about to test the 59. It's trying to go green here. So I'm thinking, who cares why it's happening? If there's a reason for it, I will keep ear to the ground. I didn't see anything on Benzinga, but I didn't look at it that hard. Look, if we pull back into VWAP on PayPal and the market is still chilling above 17.5, I think you gotta, look for longs in stronger stocks that are going to the upside. This one, for whatever reason, continuing to show some strength. Maybe it's just some exhaustion on PayPal's part, and it's been falling so far, and it's finally caught a bit of a bid. But the 180 level on Apple, that's been it for Apple. You're underneath the 50 period, you're underneath the 200 period, but there is the bottom. At the beginning of it was like January 8th or whatever it was. The 180 bounced once. If it breaks that today, it's a level. I know I like Apple. I own them in the long term too. Be great if it held this level, but if it breaks 180, I'm looking for the breakdown on Apple. So if it tests that break one more time, I think it can get through it. No matter how much size I see on that bid, in Apple, it doesn't matter. It can definitely chew through that. It's done 10 million shares. But it's at 25s is the low. It's at 33s. I think that could come into play any second. But PayPal looks pretty decent. If the market can find a bid, I think that off VWAP looks pretty darn good.
Yeah, we'll start a small Apple short against 181. But what's really cooking again is ARM. So like I don't have another bid at all, actually, so I need to get one now. I thought I had one down here at 116, 117. Let's try 116.50 for ARM. I mean, this is going to be, I mean, like I said about, wow, we are really starting to go now. Okay, so like we're doing quite well here. Affirm is $1, Amazon's now $2, and ARM was starting to go down there. I don't know, man. It's not that I mean, you always want to be right with your trading. We talked about this before. But, you know, like, is this 118 a level here? I just see the net blowing up, and it's like, I need to get some out down here. But I still think we can go lower. So it's like, this is part of the battle. Do I really want to wait for this 116, this day's low? It's already confusing me a little bit because of the fact that I don't believe ARM should be where it is right now. So I feel like it should be a lot lower considering the damage that's being done, not only in the broader market, but also in the chip space, right? So like SMH is down 3%. We've already talked about doomsday. And guys, remember when SMCI was at $1,000.50 on Friday, and I told Danielle Shea that SMCI is going to be at $700 as early as next week? This is next week right now. It's at $735. That's 40% in 2 days.
Another one.
So, I mean, it is starting to bleed down. I should actually message her right now. She was messaging me on the weekend asking me how the hell did I know that this candle was about to happen. And I said, I didn't know anything. I just told her that, hey, man, I've been staring at charts for a hell of a long time. And, you know, CMT be damned.
I mean, it's $1,000, right? Like we're saying even on Wednesday,
yeah, I mean, it went up
Thursday.
to $1,080. I mean, this is insane. This
1,000 level fail. How could it not be 800? Because it's like it went up.
Whoops. Oh no, I closed.
It was 3x. It was like 300 to $300 was the support level, and then it went straight to $1,000. I mean, that's not even that big of a pullback when you think about it in those terms. Like, I think it's insane. But like I said, if Apple gets to that 180, it hasn't broken just yet. So I still think there's a chance if the market can bounce from here. We've got some things we like to be able to short on some pops. Maybe it was just a long off 180. I mean, I didn't take it. Still looking at Intel off of 44. Now looking at the 44 even to 44 quarter for a reload. Want to get back into this one. A firm might trail me out. Oh, never mind. I just said it might trail me out. It just did trail me out. I still think we got a shot to get above 37 and maybe short the pre-market highs there. But I'm just ringing the register because the market is bouncing off of that area that we liked for some support. I did try to grab RIVN, but remember, RIVN might be bouncing now, but that's nowhere near where I wanted it long. Had to give it up. Now you're down off the 1550 area. That's not a level I was looking to go long in. I think if I go long something, it's got to be something like a PayPal here, something that's stair-step to the upside. It's already strong. It didn't quite get VWAP there, so I might try something off the 70s because it's giving you a lower high, or higher low, I should say, and I want something showing strength if I'm going to try another long position. Other than that, I'm looking to fade some pops, the same things we had before. I don't want to go away from the short the pops in Intel, short the pops in Affirm, but now PayPal, it's on my radar for the long trade because it's stair-step up.
Okay, yeah, so good thing I didn't even notice this was a problem. But Apple's starting to go back up to the upside. I still want to wait for 181. So we just started it. Like, you should never be bored as a trader, but honestly, like, I don't really want to get out. I mean, ARM, I just looked at that. I did put a bid now down there because it did go back basically back to 120 right there. So, like I feel like now we got to get something down here. So if it gets to 118 again, we will take another piece out on ARM. So that's what we're gonna do. And then just honestly, like here's one, so we'll start it, like there's 181. VWAP is all the way up here at 181.20. So that 30s, so that could be something, but I don't wanna hold this one too much against 181. Like if we break this level, that's 181.15. I feel like that's good enough for me. So 181, actually that's 181.25, isn't it? Yeah, okay, that's close enough. Maybe we'll just wait for it. So yeah, let's just wait for whatever VWAP is by the time it gets up here, but it's looking like 181.25 will be a stop out spot for me on Apple. But like our net just keeps on going here, and so we're still in a firm, obviously, but we're waiting here. I feel like I need to get, I'm at 118.20 something. Maybe we just take a piece out right now because we're bouncing off the 50 period moving average. Oh, get down. I mean, we're at 118.20, like one more push down and we're out. Maybe we'll just cross up now and get out of that. Yeah, so let's see what happens here with ARM. Hopefully it swoops down, but if it doesn't, I may just cross and get some out here as ARM's just kind of doing this little dance here at this level. There it is. Okay, so we just took a piece out. So, whoops, we got out. Where's my position there? There it is, sorry. ARM, so I just punched out a bit there because I was like, I don't know what it was doing. 40s, so we got 118.40. Right there for ARM. So that's another $1.30 in the money. We're at the highest spot today we've been at. So here we go. Let's see if we get a move down here on ARM and Apple, by the way, now in the money.
Strong arm of the law is faltering today.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit. But there is, and shout out to everyone in the chat that mentioned this, always at this point, it's past 10 o'clock, relative strength, relative weakness, so file away. I'm on the bid of PayPal, but this last push down didn't get me in. Google higher lows, Alphabet higher lows, I should say. It got green. If this holds VWAP, then Alphabet looks like a long for me. I'm gonna go back. One thing I'm gonna do at lunchtime is this is inexcusable. I had 140 marked off from last week, and it broke out that price. And then look at the dip. Don't know why I wasn't on it. I do know why I was on it because I was on RIVN for a long play. But Google looks pretty good off VWAP here as well. Just want to see it consolidate and give us some kind of an entry there. I don't like where I got out of a firm. I had the trail in there, and VWAP works its way down. That's how VWAP works. But that's too tight to VWAP if I'm looking for a VWAP reentry. So I might have to jump back into this one off the 37 level if we can get it again. There's a lot of halts. I get it. This GCT is also halted, but I'm still sticking with the names that we liked and don't want to stray away from them just yet. Let's get to the small cap recap so we can cover some of those with Adara at the screen.
Got the IWM up here, the Russell 2000. Not doing too much right now, just kind of topping and turning here. Also, in terms of individual movers to note right now, we have Shineco, SI. This one falling a little bit, but lots of volatility and volume to watch out for. This one reverse split on Friday, 1 to 10 reverse split here. Also of note here, Meds, MEDS, this one multiple halter, up about 105% right now, announcing the sales of some of its assets to Micro Merchant Systems for about $22.5 million with an additional $7.5 million payout that could potentially happen as well. Also worth noting here, the float for this one is about 859,000 shares, a very small float. Last but not least, BioFrontera, BFRI. This one, a couple announcements today, including a $60 million private placement and the announcing of the supply agreement restructuring for one of its drugs. But again, noting this float is very small, under 900,000 shares, guys.
Thank you very much there, Darren. And again, this is what this is what we're all about here. Whether or not we're in the small cap names, some days they're going to be the ones that are moving. And you've got to trade your plan, got to trade your price action, got to trade your setups. Whatever gives you an edge, that's what trading is all about. So we're going to make sure we cover pretty much anything that is moving. That's another good thing about the second stream. If you're following along, it's going to not just give you our positions, it's going to show you what's in the news. It's going to show you what the big gappers are, like percentage movers of the day. You're going to be able to track the indices. So all of that and live trading over here. I am back into a firm. Don't know how much I love it, but I do like VWAP. Intel just broke another low. Bye-bye. This one can't seem to get out of its way. I was trying to get the consolidation short. Bye-bye. Forget about that. Did not get those in front of 44. It's now at that 43.50 zone, just continuing to absolutely flush to said downside. But the reload is off VWAP for me and Affirm. Want to make sure we got ourselves back into that one. Pretty much the same price that we got out before. I see DraftKings as flushing, but in this next move to the downside, it should be VWAP for PayPal here. You would think it should be VWAP for PayPal. Again, market moves back to the lows, and PayPal is at the high. Wow. PayPal's strong. PayPal is very strong. I just tried to grab VWAP there. Can't even get it. Now I'm trying to grab some 70s. It's a super strong name, relatively speaking. Could just be a 59 break, but I'd rather get the dip buy still.
So silly me, again, we're trying to go for, well, we are 4 for 4, but we were just bidding at 25s right there, which was the bottom for Apple, and it went to 26 and stopped. So I just missed out, like very stupidly, waiting for the bottom print there on Apple when we had a nice little reload come in there. Oh, that's too bad. Hopefully it'll come back in for us on Apple. We still don't have a huge position on this. We're waiting for a little bit more. If we can get anything up and around here for Apple, 181. Oh man, that sucks. We just missed that 30. Okay, we somewhat digress on that one and see what happens now. All right, so that's Apple. Damn it, hopefully it comes back in. All right, let's just check in on some of the other guys here. So AMD, we're already, every position we have so far is cooking, right? It's just AMD we don't have, and this is one that we should have had. And we did talk about that, and we've talked about shorting this top. We've talked about the day of reckoning for Nvidia. Looks like today it's not it. This is nothing but down 5.5. We haven't seen that in a while. And we talked about this at the beginning of the show and all last week and everything, is that last week we came, and I've mentioned this to Adair on Monday of last week when we came in. I was like, get ready for all these upgrades coming through on Nvidia. So now what about those upgrades? Like, I want all these guys to come from last week that were slapping on here $850, $950, $1,000 price targets to see if they want to do it now as we head to the downside. We're just going to have to wait for earnings. That's it. That's going to tell the story on this. This is either going to be a fantastic buying opportunity, or we're going to look back and say, what the hell are we even doing? But right now, Amazon's at the low of the day. So yeah, we'll face slap. I don't have, honestly, remember what I told you guys? We're using more shares, and we're going to try to make the bigger plays. So right now, Amazon and ARM, both dollars. Affirm's trying to do its thing. And once again, Apple just bounced off basically where I was sitting. I'm sitting in the low 30s. It just ticked to 35 again. I don't even want to take a piece out there. Like, I really think we should get these 30s. So let's see if Apple continues to go lower. That's sort of the trade I want to sit in right now. And then the other stock that we mentioned before, the other trade idea that we had was Palantir breaking that 2380.
Where's Palantir?
23 flats, so that would be 80 cents now in the money. But again, there's that 2380 break. It happened pretty early. We talked about that from here on the 20 period. There's the break, there's the flush, and then here we are. The reason why I bring this up is because we're right at 23 bucks. So I think I'll probably just stay short here, but this is not a horrible situation here for Palantir to try to go long off 23, but I mean, right now I'm going to play the trend, and right now it's definitely been my friend today.
Got to watch out for Affirm. I jumped in at the same price. Again, basically the shares that I trailed out of, I just jumped right back into them. So it's like effectively like I didn't get out of the original position, but it did just take out 37 even. So I jumped back into the shares, almost like giving it a little bit more room. If I short again, it's got to be up 30. It's got to be somewhere at 37.4 or back underneath here, showing weakness underneath VWAP. But the chips are definitely bleeding. But Tesla is also about to break the bottom here. 191 going to go. So we had RIVN in a long off of 1580. If I like a level long and you show me the stairs in the other direction, I'm going to respect it in said other direction. And where we were going long before, just put in a rejection at that same 15.7 level. And then the 15.8 is also VWAP. So if Tesla does not hold 192, I got to start looking shorts on RIVN off the same level we liked before. Just want to respect it. You look at Tesla as a bit of a leading indicator sometimes. That was let's go to the 15 minutes so I can show you. 192 was key. Absolutely key on Thursday as a higher low. If it can't hold on to this, I think you're dumpsville on a bunch of those EV names. One which I would like to be able to get Don't know if it's going to happen. I'm still waiting for a pop to be able to fade this Nikola. If you show me a failed breakout like that, I just want the next short. I feel like that's always an exhaustion type move. Try to break 80, double top, and look at all the red. If it's VWAP, maybe. If it's 77, possibly. But I'm just still looking for a short to pop situation here on Nikola. It just can't even go more than 1 cent before it starts failing again.
All right.
All right, here comes Intel to the upside a little bit.
Yeah, I was trying to wait for something to happen here, but you know what's happening right now is ARM is now tanking through 18. So let's see if it finally gets that break. We're still waiting. I still think we can get lower than this, but we had a hard time breaking 119. Now we're here at 118. We're short 120 right now on this one. Yeah, I know Neil was just talking about Tesla there as well, so you have to watch out for that.
92 is a kilo.
Yeah, we already talked about that 92 earlier. Maybe I'll have to go look at it again for everybody. So Rivian's getting into an area that, like I thought we could have maybe bought some down here. You know, that 1550, I mean, I don't know. Like today, man, the market's really coming in here. I mean, even Bitcoin's down to 51.5 right now and starting to go lower now on that. So Mara's probably through that 25. Yeah, so 24.60 now on Mara trying to go lower. BTC right now is some poo emojis, says George K in the chat there. It's definitely making the move down. And so is Mara. So this is what this is what it looks like on Binance. I feel like Binance is not slowing down my computer, so I'm going to use Binance now to look at the charts. But there it is, man. It's a nice move downside. We can check a 1 hour chart just to see these levels, but that's 50,050. So it looks like, you know, we may or may not break ARM, exactly, Fabian. See what I was doing there?
Good timing.
Yeah, so I just want to look at crypto there quickly to look at Mara, look at some of these names because Mara continuing to go down, and ARM, just by the way, nothing to do with crypto really unless you're maybe mining from your cell phone. But right now, ARM is bouncing once again off of 118. But I still want to be short on this one. And by the way, here comes Apple right now. I'm just going to, well, here we go. I'm bidding 32s. Let's see, can we get a 32 fill down there? And yes, we can. So there we go, man. That wraps up 4 for 4 today. Apple, Affirm, Amazon, and ARM. It's all 4 A's. So if your favorite letter's A today, I apologize because I've short all 4 of those names right into the ground as per Sticky Note Nation. And here we go. Here comes 180. We'll just sit here, watch it break. We're already short at 180.50 on Apple. What's up, A?
Ethereum actually breaking that $3,000 barrier for the first time since 2022, April 2022. So it's about a 22-month high for Ethereum, breaking that 3,000 area amid an overall run for Bitcoin as of recent. So now Ethereum gets to have its move up to that 3,000 level. Bitcoin itself still kind of stagnant around that 52,000 area, just topping and turning around here. We did run up a little bit to 52.5 earlier today. Now we're down about 1,000, right? We're just below 51.5 over here right now in BTC. Bitcoin down about 1%. Ethereum now retracing from that 2,300 touch, or sorry, from that 3,000 touch, now just above 29. A lot of these other cryptocurrencies to the downside, though. Solana down 8%, Ripple down 1.5%. USD flat on the day, but Cardano down 3.5%, guys.
Well, I mean, you know, rising tide lifts all ships. I suppose there's a reverse to that. I have no idea what it is. You guys let me know. I know there's some kind of quip I could put in there, but you're dragging all of crypto to the downside right now, and none more than things like some of the, look, if Mara's better on the way up percentage-wise, then suffice to say it's worse on the way down percentage-wise. That's why you're down 8.5%. Maybe you go 10% down on Mara today. Certainly could be a thing. I'm not saying it's going to happen for sure, but if it gets to that 10% marker, maybe it can catch a bit of a bid. I don't want to, if you're not shorted, I don't know that I want to be anticipating bottoms. We're in PayPal because it's shown strength. The next thing I think is about to happen is Apple breaking 180. That feels like it's about to be the play. So it's at 10s right now. So if 180 breaks, 180 held on January the 8th, I believe, and we've been holding that one pretty much all year on Apple. So it's a pretty monstrous level. And you know there's going to be a little bit of a, I think there'll be a pretty decent bid there and a lot of buyers, so it could bounce a couple times before eventually breaking. Oh, shout out to KC in the chat. PanW and crowd slipping. dip buy opportunities, I think, in some of the cybersecurity names as well. But my eyeballs are going to be right here on Apple and this 180 level. Doesn't mean it has to break, but if it doesn't break now, then once again, the 180s held. But 17.5 is in the rear view, so we're underneath our support on the NASDAQ. Hard to be looking for longs when you're underneath that support level. In weak names, I should say. I mean, if something's trending to the upside, that's a different story. I mean, PayPal has been trending up. Google, when I last looked at it, was actually pretty decent. Walmart was looking okay as well. So there are some names out there, some kernels of strength. Back to Adara.
Intuitive Machines continues to move to the upside here. LUNR, this one has been running for a little bit since announcing last week that its lander has been lifted. Now, apparently, it's reported that this lander should reach the moon as of tomorrow, as of Wednesday, as reported by CNBC here. So nice move to the upside here for LUNR, guys.
Hey, guys.
That was a great story for them.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, great, absolute monster here as well. Look, yeah, LUNR up 57%. All right, so right here, I'm thinking we should have gotten some out. 116 and change. I mean, we are really rocking right now with ARM. This is going to be the #1 stock, but it's Amazon and ARM right now for me, battling back and forth as we go right now. And I mean, you guys saw Obi here on Friday. I just got to say congratulations to Obi because temporarily here, second spot right now in the office goes to Obi. So Obi killing it behind me, man. My Padawan there, very, very proud of that dude, and I'm always going to talk about him. So there it goes, Obi. Congrats on that one. I think he has his headphones on right now. I'll find out what he's trading later. But for right now, we continue to go to the downside with ARM. So again, man, good day here. Hopefully we can continue with this movement. And again, congratulations to my guy back there, Obi, as you've been able to see all mine and Neil's trade. So I just want to bring you his update there on how well he was doing. I'm thinking about Shopify. Apparently Shopify, my wife had on her Queen Bee hat over the weekend, and apparently Shopify is having some sort of a deal here with Beyonce. So there's a nice move up to the upside there. 79.50 coming through right there. Yeah, there it is, man. I'll tell Obi. I'll give Obi. There he is. Obi the money can Obi. You're damn right about that one. So watch out for right now. Shopify does have a little bit of a bump up on that Queen Bee news, and then and not my wife, but Beyonce, and then a nice move back in right now to 78 again as it keeps on making that move down. So the only thing that I have to worry about is, do we take $2 on Amazon? Does it keep bouncing off 166.50? Do we take $4 on ARM because it keeps bouncing off 116? Or do we let Apple just continue to go down, which is another 50 cents in the money here for ARM today? So we'll just figure it out, man, what we're doing. But so far, so good, as this is what's going on. Downside move in the market, and the sticky note was littered with shorts. I hope you guys had some of these ones because as you can see, look at our positions. Although Neil's been talking about the strength in PayPal, they've been primarily short here today. So I'm going to put a bid at 116.50. I just feel silly not taking out some more profit here on ARM.
So I do have a reload. Waited patiently for Intel to make a decent bounce back to the upside. 1% actually move on Intel back to the upside just now. 43.40 into 43.80. It was that 44 reject that we had before, so there's your 44 level. Wanted to wait till it got back in there for reload. PayPal's trying, but I mean, the market's so heavy to the downside. Like, it bounced once off VWAP, in front of VWAP, I should say. I was able to get some out at 85. Now we're looking for it to break back into the 59 top here. If it breaks 59, this could also be a breakout trade because of its relative strength. The NASDAQ is doing this at 17.5. That's a wick bottom if I ever saw it. 17.5 even. You broke underneath it on the NASDAQ. Now you're holding above. You can see a potential run up here. Not a huge one, but I could easily see us getting back to 10, 20, 30 points higher if that 17.5 holds. And I like PayPal. I would throw Google into that as well if you're just looking for some other opportunities because, hey, everything that's been working for the short, you can short pops at some obvious levels. VWAP, I mentioned Intel there in front of 44. But if you're looking for longs, Google is strong, PayPal is strong, and I don't see a heck of a lot else out there. Google back into VWAP as we speak. So we're going to go for the reload, PayPal off VWAP. Google, I'm not there just yet. I'd like to see 17.5 hold, and then I'll feel a little bit better about that. But the new position was an oldie, back into the short for Intel. I've not strayed away from shorting in just those two names, Intel and Affirm. That was a litmus, and there goes Tesla again. I should be trying to short more actively in Nikola. This is ridiculous. It failed breakout, it's just bleeding. I said it could only pop 1 cent. You only needed it to pop 1 cent. It just made another fresh low. This stock is going to get red the way this is trading. Forget about VWAP. I think the next level now would be the 77. I paid for the locates, and I'm trying not to short the absolute bottom here. But every single time I look over, I could have just punched short and it would have worked.
Yeah, Nikola's a
joke?
Probably, yeah. I think all EV names are a joke right now, to be honest with you. So right now, we'll see here, Apple, it just went down to 108.10. So I have a bid now at 09. If we're gonna, sorry, 180. If we're going to get out of this name in and around 180 anyways, we might as well take a 180.10 fill. So it just bounced off there right now. We're short Apple right now, 180.50. We'll see if it can come in one more time and give us that fill. This is going to be another one here for us today. So far today has been a pretty good day. We have 4 winners. So we've got the first one with Affirm, and then we've got Amazon, we've got ARM, and we've got Apple. So it's 4 for 4. We've only traded 4 names. You can go over right now, and if you're gonna, you probably will miss us. We don't have Sharif today. I guess it's going to be Obi and Adara. But right here, you can see our positions, which right now it's is this live? So we are working on this second stream.
That's right.
There it is, long PayPal, short Intel. So that's right. So you can go back and check out all of our positions and a couple most recent fills that we've had and the times that we've had them. This should probably be price, not time, but that's okay. So there it is right there. We'll wait. We're going to work on this dashboard as we go. So thank you to everybody. It's the second one. Go find it at more Trader TV right now. So yeah, what we're doing, it's only 1040, but we've got bids on here down low for ARM. If ARM takes up 119, then we'll get out of half of our ARM position that's left. We do have Amazon, $1.70 in the money, but only a small piece left. We talked about this one. We're riding with Amazon. Amazon and ARM will be the top names. And then Affirm as well, trying to get lower here. So we'll have to wait. But for right now, it's Sector Watch. It's with Adara, and we're over at the big desk.
Lots of weakness here across the board, especially these tech-related sectors. Electronic technology, super weak here. AMD and Nvidia leading this group to the downside, especially notable ahead of Nvidia earnings tomorrow after close. Technology services also a bit weaker here. Lots of weakness, especially from Adobe, Oracle, and Netflix to keep an eye out for as well here. Finance, a little bit of strength from BRKB and JPM, but usually a little bit more mixed. Health technology, interesting, pretty much strong across the board, except for Eli Lilly, LLY, down as the European regulators are going to investigate some of the injectable forms of their Mounjaro drug. So certainly something of note there. Some weakness in commercial services, consumer durables, transportation, Uber very much to the downside here. Energy minerals a bit mixed to weak. Producer manufacturing weak, but especially worth noting retail trade here. Walmart to the upside, Home Depot to the downside after both companies reported earnings before the market opened, guys.
Oh, there goes Google. The market just held that 17.5 like an absolute charm. VWAP got wicked on PayPal, so it needs to reclaim it. Otherwise, I'm not getting back in. I only want strength off VWAP to my reasoning, which Google definitely has. We talked about 2 names that were holding VWAP. I know there's a couple others. JPM's having a good day too, but they're a bank. That sector is looking pretty okay right now. So if I can get back above VWAP on PayPal, I'm going to go back into that long. But you don't have to worry about VWAP on Alphabet. This is super, super strong off that 140 level, looking to take out those highs over 141. I'm not jumping into a breakout trade. It doesn't feel like the type of market to do it. And Apple 180 has just been, it's a brick wall right now. I'm still looking for that to break down. The only position we re-entered to the short side was Intel, and we'll wait around for a firm to get back into VWAP. Maybe we have to put the 180 in the rear view. If it never breaks, it's just chilling out down here. The longer it consolidates, I think the better, because if the market goes up, sorry, I mean to be on Apple's, hit enter. The longer it consolidates at the bottom, Apple. If the market tries to bounce and it doesn't go, that just makes the breakdown better. So if the market does not make a move from here and reclaim like 17.55, I think this is a clean break on that 180 level. Until then, reloading Intel, can't even, I mean, AMD can't even get to VWAP at this particular point. 165 looks pretty good there for a reload. And watch out, SMCI keeps on plummeting as well. So SMCI continues to look weak. I think the chips are still a short. Apple's still a short. Google, your only strong stock.
We only have 4 trades today. They're all short. So Travolta's like, huh? Why are you going short today? We talked about why we're going short today. We're under that 17.8. And honestly, I've sort of been talking about some of the spaces that we hadn't liked for a while. There's a reason why ARM is on there. There's a reason why all the stocks that I trade are on here. Amazon's been my #1 name pretty much for the whole month. We talked about having my biggest trade on this name on the year last Wednesday or Thursday to the short side, and we're doing it again here today to the short side one more time. We did get that Apple fill. So we're already short Apple, came up to the 50 period. So you know what we did on that one, give props off of that, and there it goes. So nice little downside push again here for us on Apple as it looks like it wants to break 180. We're short 180.60. So far here today, all we've given you is this is 60 cents here on Apple. We've already taken 90 cents on Affirm. It's only 70 cents in the money now. Amazon's $2, ARM's $2, and that's it. So we got to look for some more right now. What patience do I have on Affirm? Lots, Patrick. Lots. I have patience on everything now. So that's, I can, for me, the proof is in the pudding. We've changed our style of trading, and I know you guys can all see what's good, and I'm proud to talk about it, right? So hopefully we can just continue to have big time movements here over the next little while, and you'll be able to see hopefully a better trading, more success, hopefully by all of us. I mean, that's the idea. So we'll just continue to go, man. We are through earnings season now. A few more this week, including some of the retail names. So let's just go back over to Walmart. I did want to look at Walmart, but I know Neil sort of talked about that. That seems to be one of the stronger ones, obviously.
Google
Beasting
right now.
Beasting. And then there's Walmart, man. We talked about a possible pullback here once we got to 180, but the problem is it actually got to 181.50, and now you're pulling back. So what I like on Walmart, we talked about this, are VWAP breaks when we get into earnings season and we don't know what's happening. So there's a VWAP break right there at 179, a nice move back to 177 there for Walmart. So congratulations, anybody that's long this name. They're a big dividend. I called them, like Neil mentioned there on the podcast, we call them a dividend aristocrat, and guess what? They raised their damn dividend again. So if you're not watching the podcast, first of all, you can go watch it now. I forgive you. You can watch it now. It's a couple days late, but go find it. We talked all about Walmart. I said I really like this name. It was starting to break a little bit higher. I like the dividends. Dividends are coming back into sort of look now as we get the interest rates not moving. We may not get an interest rate cut now until October, November, December. Could be the later end of the cycle. So if you're going to get later cycle cuts, then interest rates obviously remaining high means that these dividends right here, maybe we can get back into a value buy ahead of those cuts. And then as the cuts start to happen, Walmart maybe get some money back into it right there. Because if you can get 5% on a T-bill and not take any risk here with the equity, then that might be the play for now. But I still think that big names like Caterpillar, Deere, Walmart, some bigger names that give you that dividend. No surprise that Meta just announced one, although it's only $2 a year. It's a start, and it's a start, obviously, in my opinion, in the right direction. So there's Apple. It's a good thing we took a little bit of profit there because once again, we bounce off. We're out of 2/3, 1/3, 2/3. It's not a huge position. Let's see what happens here with Apple. Looks like it's trying to make the move back up. So is ARM, by the way. But we're fine with ARM. If ARM breaks 119, we've already talked about this, we're out of half of what we have left. An ARM break above 119, we're going to get out, man. We can't. You'll hear me and Neil talk about this all the time. It's tough to turn winners into losers, but that's why we both tend to piece names out.
Scale in.
Sometimes you get lucky and a name will just run for you forever, like I feel like ARM was doing here early. But right now, we can see clearly, man, this does not want to break through 116 now. So we'll continue to hold on to ARM and figure out what it's up. Canadian dividends, says Thomas.
There's lots of Canadian dividends.
Just like type in any stock pretty much that's listed on the TSX.
Well,
and in the top 30 or 40. I mean, there's Shopify would be the only.
The Canadian market's not a lot of tech, right? So like the Canadian market's going to have a lot of miners are going to be in there, a lot of energy names. It's sectors that tend to be dividends one way or the other.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it's the nature of what is in the Canadian Stock Exchange more so than, hey, Canadian companies like to pay dividends. No, it's just you got a bunch of energy names, man. Like it's the banks over there that are the biggest names. It's going to be the banks and it's going to be the energy names and all that good stuff. But the biggest and the baddest today on big cap tech is Google. And look, it broke out the top. I'm willing to take breakouts. I said dip buys are better, so the next dip buy will be into the breakout price. Maybe we get VWAP, maybe we get 141. I'm looking at 141 now because that was a triple top that broke out. So I'm looking to take the stairs to the upside. Like the algo, whether it's algo trading or not there, Stephen Cameron in the chat just saying Apple bouncing off the 180. Day traders and real traders play off levels like that too. We've done it before ourselves. I don't think that's anything crazy here for Apple. VWAP looks pretty good at 181. It's still stair step to the downside. Eventually 180's breaking. I don't think it holds this forever. But until that happens, I think you got to be real patient. Affirm is right back into VWAP. So last time I was in under VWAP instead of at VWAP. Never want to do that. Now that it's at VWAP, I'll look for the break over and then another lower high to get put in to try to fade this. And on the move up, I've said it a few times, first available pop on Nikola. I want to try to grab something. The 77 level in the VWAP is what I'm looking at. But still, this thing can't pop more than 1 cent every single time. Absolute dog, this one is. But Affirm at VWAP right now.
All right, let's, so Affirm, a name that we've both been in. I still have 20% of Affirm, but we are almost at, I'm trying to find the new, there it is, new position alert. We'll go into Citigroup, man. Again, just a huge move up.
What is Citi?
Yeah, it's not doing that much. It's just, it came into 55 again. I want to try to look at 55 right now. So we'll give it a look. It's a nice move back upside. Like I said, I'm trying to play names that maybe have gone on a little bit of a run here. And Citigroup is definitely one of those. ARM just keeps on making like higher lows, and it's really starting to bother me, and I'm wondering about getting out. But here we go. We'll put a piece out right here, 54.87, so a dime actually. I should have guessed that. So we'll try to get a piece out for that, but that's right where the 50 period is. And I just want to tell everybody, because this is only about 20 cents, 15 cents, I'm only going to give this to 55.20. So I was only trying to give this 20 cents. So if you see Citigroup right here, this is the high from Friday. I just want to see it break it. That's it. I know the banks are pretty strong. You may not want to follow me into this one. This is not the most banger idea right now, but we're going to try something different because I'm only shorting A names.
Come on, Google.
So let's skip the Bs and go right to the Cs with Citigroup. Here comes Citigroup down in, only 5 cents, but we'll see if it can go. ARM, like I said, really starting to get me going here. Wait a second, did we break above? Oh, we almost broke that 119. Looks like we got to 119.03. So slightly more than that, and we're getting punched out of ARM. So let's go over to Adara right now and see money talks, and we'll be back and probably out of this ARM trade.
The DXY following below that earlier support and resistance level of that 104 area, now below 104, just at that 103.9. We did get the U.S. leading index month for month coming in January, negative 0.4% versus the expectation of negative 0.3%, so slightly lower than expected there. Big news, though, coming tomorrow for the USD. We do have some Fed speak, Bostic and Bowman, ahead of that 2 p.m. FOMC decision coming, so definitely keep an eye on that. Lots of Fed and FOMC news coming tomorrow. Also worth noting, the CAD down against the USD here, so Canadian dollar weak against the USD after we did get that inflation print a bit lower than expected, 2.9% CPI versus the expected 3.3%, guys.
Just before, because Mr. Westermeyer here wants to get some credit, so you did tag me. So it doesn't matter who you tag, we should be able to get it. Thanks to Bears vs. Bulls as well. Thank you for the $2. And Mr. Westermeyer, you want to bang? I mean, for this kind of a trade, you can join my club whenever you want, my guy. There it is right there. It's a $1.99 super chat for 150 handle NQ win. He's out. Great job there, man. You absolutely smacked that. I'm guessing it's that pre-market break there of 1760, and then you nailed it down to 5. live. So great trade there. Mr. Westermeyer is in the building with another one. So thank you so much for that. And there it is, man. So we got out of ARM. Good trade. We'll take 70 cents on the last piece. Now we're holding just a small little thing to see if we can get going back upside right now or back to the downside for ARM. I don't have any bids, obviously. We'll see if it can cook. Citigroup is starting to go back up, but not doing anything. So right now, it looks like we'll end the day just kind of, we'll go that 4 for 4. We'll wait for Citigroup and see what happens. ARM, upside, Amazon, they're all coming back, but they're small pieces. And we were waiting for a move to come back in again. So let's see if it can happen now for us. Amazon still $1.20, but maybe we get out as Palantir is hovering, guys, right around that nasty little level downside here of $23, which we talked about. Ram, you going on the green screen over there? What are you up to? Right there. She gets out of the way before Fabian blasts her on, puts her on blast over there. All right. So I'm not really seeing anything right now. That Apple was a smooth bounce, man, off that. So right now, I'm going to reassess some of all of these plays right now with Apple, so on and so forth as we go. It's funny that I mentioned
Google is unstoppable.
Google's unstoppable. Okay, yeah. It's good that I mentioned that Obi was a little on fire. He's going to be coming and joining us here on the midday show as Sharif is ill. So, okay, he has a little bit of an ember brewing over here as we talked about the success with Obi today. So take it easy on my guy over there. It's Obi. He did a great job for you, obviously, on Friday, Neil.
Patient zero.
Yes.
Undefeated.
Yes.
I was nowhere near Sharif all of Friday.
On Thursday. You weren't here Friday, that is correct.
On Thursday, I was nowhere near Sharif.
So anyways, it is what it is. We'll figure that all out, but hopefully Sharif's back here tomorrow. But we're going to have Obi anyway. So Obi's all good. He's all good. And we'll do that anyways. I love when Obi's on base. All right, so that's that. So right now, we're just going to watch out for this, man. ARM is just doing its thing, Amazon, Affirm, and Apple. And then if you're missing us during the midday high, it's me, we're still here. We have the new stream. So you can definitely check this new stream out. Go to more Trader TV Live. It's a slightly different logo. So if it's not showing up here, it's going to look like that. It just says Trader TV Live, but the word more there. So go find it. Me and Neil's positions will be here. The other cool thing about it is we'll have updates as the market goes. Real time. We have real-time movers here as well. The daily schedule, what's expected, then Neil and I's fills, and then a little bit of the Qs and the NASDAQ, spiders, so on and so forth. And again, we will be looking at the chat, and we'll be taking suggestions, and we're going to try to give you guys...
We'll be in that chat as well.
Yeah, the best experience possible. You can ask us all, we'll let you know if it's working, not working, all of our fills. But so far, it looks great. Thank you to Mark and the team for getting that up. So,
Mark, the team's been working tirelessly. You guys have been asking for it for a while, and we're all about giving you guys what you want. And that's what it's all about here. I'm now out. Like, Intel does not hold on to that 44. So we end up getting out of that one around VWAP. We try to reload. RIVN is also at VWAP. So again, this is like that time of day where I'm looking for VWAP plays. If they hold, great. If they don't, Intel just under here. I guess it didn't break VWAP, but it broke this local bottom that I was trading off of. So when it broke that local bottom, I jumped out. But RIVN has not violated VWAP and not violated that 1580. So I am into that one to the south side. I've stopped chasing Google. I was chasing Google a little bit as it broke higher, looked for a dip buy, then made another consolidation higher. I'm not doing that anymore, but now it's at 142-ish. So this is clearly the name that I want long. There's no question about it. I mean, PayPal would be the other one, but Google just now starting to run away from things, and the market is bouncing very heavily into the upside, led by Google, Meta off the bottom about $3 or $4, getting into VWAP as well. We haven't even mentioned the name of Microsoft here today, teetering at that $400 level. I would almost put Microsoft into the other category because consolidated at 400, now you're consolidating again at 400. Google's the only one of these that I really like to the long side. You're still breaking underneath support on Microsoft, which was at about 403. So I still feel like this one it's more of it's in the bucket with Apple, I would say, whereas Google, I think, looks a little bit stronger. So Microsoft, not ready to think of that one as a long trade, but Google, no questions asked. Like that one's a pullback into VWAP. We only have 2.5 minutes to go, but remember, said it a few times here for you, you're going to have OB stepping in for the professor. The second stream, be able to have our positions up. And of course, breaking news and all that good stuff is also on the second stream. If you don't know what it is, Bears versus Bulls been putting it in the chat the entire time. So you're locked and loaded. Thank you, Bears versus Bulls, for doing that, by the way. Making sure all the viewers know exactly where to go to get what they want, which is what we're trying to give you.
Give people what they want. Okay. So just for Apple, before we go here, only a couple more minutes. I'm looking to re-short this, but like I keep saying, it's that same level. So we've already gotten out at 2/3, so we have 1/3 against us, 10 cents. So we'll be up on the stock, but again, guys, pick your poison with it if you want to short Apple. I don't know, man. And I say like you bite into that Apple, you know, that's 180. I don't know, man. We're getting close. We're getting close. Like, I don't know why it wants to come all the way back up here and test these VWAPs. Maybe Apple's a little bit stronger than I initially had thought. We talked about Palantir dipping down. Another name that may be of some interest early on or later on as the show goes is going to be SoFi, because look at this move. Huge move up for SoFi. SoFi now green on the day and starting to really make moves again. So watch out for SoFi here. I mean, up to the 50 period, looks like it wants to take this out. SoFi really starting to cook back up to the upside. And those of you wondering what's for lunch, let's go to our favorite segment of the day. It is what's for lunch. This is something that's very, very interesting to me today. I cannot really have too much of an opinion on this because I've never really heard of, I've heard of this, but they've definitely never had it here before. It's kind of a chicken dinner winner, but it's the opposite. It's like a same type, different bird. It's Santa Fe turkey bolognese with penne pasta.
Turkey, huh?
Santa Fe turkey bolognese with penne pasta.
Okay.
How does that sound, boss? You like that turkey bolognese today? Okay.
Yeah?
He's liking it. So that's what's for lunch. It's turkey bolognese.
Hey, turkey's better
So
for
I'll be
you.
having a little healthy salad, but I think turkey's good for you.
No, turkey on the salad would be great, but we're not going to get turkey on our salad. $1 says we get some chicken on our
That's
salad.
the rub. That's the rub.
That's the problem.
But that
Well,
could sound okay. Okay, I take it back. My wife made a bolognese on Saturday, beef and pork mix.
My daughter's going to be upset because she calls it penny pasta, but penne pasta is
Penne,
her absolute
yeah.
favorite.
Yeah, penne's
she
a good one.
loves penne pasta. So, I'm not taking any home, but we get a salad. The reason we're saying salad is because there's like a salad lunch our caterer gives. I get it, Sean gets it, Adara gets it, Brendan also gets it. It's very simple every single day and nice and consistent. But it is 11 o'clock. Got some VWAP trades for the short side of things. Anything that we like short, that's at VWAP. I like it again at VWAP and Google dip buys because Google is an absolute rocket ship. Let's get on over to the midday. It is going to be Obi stepping in for the professor with Adara, who did a fantastic job first day at the desk. I think she did absolutely fantastic. Let's go.
Hi, guys. Good to see you on this